Hello and welcome to the Kia Oval for this Vitality Blast fixture between Sussex and Surrey. The sun's out, it's a hot day. I'm Rana, I'm with Alistair Brown to start with. Phil Walker will be with us later in the evening. Ali, two of the most informed sides in the division at the moment.
Yeah, Surrey certainly, they look really good. I think the last three games they've really they've really upped their game. I think they've been very impressive. They've beaten a couple of very good sides. Kent twice is a really impressive win, and to turn the tables back on Hampshire again, who beat them here. I think they're in a good place. They're taking on Sussex, who have had a very good start. They're obviously 4-1 with an NR in there as well. They're above them in the table, but I think it's a real chance for Surrey to show the sort of form they're in. They've been really good. I know that Sussex have played some of the sides that aren't necessarily in the top four at the moment, and Surrey have. But it's interesting to see how they go tonight.
Two captains tossed up earlier in the piece. Here is a toss with Sam Keir.
Here we are in the middle ahead of the toss. We've got the usual people we would expect for the toss. We've got our umpires, Paul Pollard and Ben Debenham, the match referee, James Whitaker, the Sussex Sharks captain, Tamal Mills, and Surrey's captain, of course, Sam Crump. But we've also got four special guests. Our mascots tonight, Will, Zach, Josh and Tom. But we are all set for the toss. We're going to find out who is doing what. Sam, I believe, has the coin. Tamal will be calling.
Tails.
Tails is the call, and that is a tails. Tamal, you're going to bowl. Yeah. Why is that?
Stats suggest chasing under lights is always better here, and with the short edge, can hopefully use it to our effect later on this afternoon.
Things are going pretty well for you in terms of the record, second in the table, just that one defeat. Guys must be full of confidence.
Yeah, taking on the good performances from last season where we played really well. Unfortunate to lose unfortunately lost in finals day. But yeah, look, we're playing with great confidence. The guys are going really well in Division 1 of the 4-day stuff, and we've taken that into T20 as well.
And how big is this final bit of the first block of games before the championship restarts, just to finish on a high?
Yeah, of course. Look, we want to win every game, so today's no different. We come here, as I said, full of confidence. We're playing some good cricket, and yeah, fingers crossed we'll get another win tonight.
Now, looking at the squad, a few enforced changes. How's that translated into the team?
Yeah, unfortunately, picked up a few injuries in our second game of the back-to-backs up at Cardiff. So, yeah, 3 changes. Where George Thomas comes in for his T20 debut for the club, and Danny Lamb and Brad Curry come in as well. Lovely stuff.
Thanks very much, Tamal. Sam, tossing not going so well, but the cricket going well, particularly last night. What a great statement win that was ahead of this busy 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, we spoke about it before last night. A fantastic performance by the whole team last night at the Ageas Bowl, and yeah, I guess tonight's what a beautiful day, and to get batting first, get some runs on the board, hopefully do something similar to what we did last night.
There was a period last night, just a moment where it looked like Brevis might start hitting a few big ones, but Mitch Santner showed why he is up there with the best bowlers in the world.
Yeah, Hampshire, a quality side. We expected them to come hard, especially when we got nearly 200 on the board. We got a fantastic bowling unit who had a lot of experience. So it's about using those dimensions to our kind of advantage. But yeah, it's a new game, same team tonight as well, which keeps the momentum into tonight.
A quick word for Dom Sibley, a bit of a statement knock from him at the top of the order last night.
Yeah, it was really good. He's been threatening all season, he's been looking really good in the nets, and obviously done really well in the 4-day stuff. So I think last night was a pretty comprehensive performance from the whole team. That's the kind of model we want to do our batting with. We want to be starting a nice platform in that first 6. Great to have Will Jacks up top there with Sibs as well, and the way Laurie's been playing, Jason, and obviously guys like with the ball, CJ's been unbelievable, stuff like that. So we're in a good place.
And finally, a chance to go second with a win tonight. That would be great ahead of the London Derby on Friday.
Yeah, it would. I think I said before in our team talk yesterday to the guys, it's a big week, and hopefully we can win tonight and then have a full house here on Friday night, I'm sure.
Lovely stuff. Go well, Sam. So there we have it. The news from the middle is that Sussex have won the toss and they will bowl.
Sussex have won the toss and they will bowl first here at the Kia Oval. Surrey in action last night, beating Hampshire by 69 runs down on the south coast. Dom Sibley on fine form, scoring 70 runs in a important statement victory for Surrey, who took their time to get going as the fireworks play out in front of us. Surrey took their time to get going this season, but have hit their stride over the last week or so. They're up against a Sussex side who are also in good form. They're second in the South Group table. 4 victories and a no result and 1 defeat from their 6 games so far. But they are without some of their key performers so far this season. Ollie Robinson has been rested for this fixture. Harrison Ward and Tom Alsop, though, 2 of their most important batters, are both out injured. Brad Curry, Danny Lamb and George Thomas in for the visitors. George Thomas, someone to watch out for late in the evening, signing in the off-season from Somerset, extremely highly rated opening batter in white ball cricket. Yet to get an opportunity so far this season, but in today. Ali, that victory last night for Surrey was really, really important.
Yeah, very important. And, you know, if we drop back 3 games, you'd say, you know, it's 50-50 about, you know, it wasn't a great position to be in, but they haven't just won those games. I know it was a last ball win here, which was very important, gave them great momentum, but they've beaten some very good sides, and then sides around them, that's going to be really important. I think when you come back to the second half of the competition, you're going to find that those head-to-head matches are really important, the wins, and to have 2 wins over Kent is very important. And to make sure that they lost to Hampshire here, that was a fairly disappointing performance for the class that they've got. A lot of the Surrey players, I think, are in very good form. And of course, we've seen Chris Jordan, not just here at Hampshire where he bowled brilliantly, but also showing a lot of pace, hurrying a lot of batsmen, and looking like he's bowling really well at the moment.
With the new ball from the pavilion end, Brad Curry bowling to Will Jacks. Bit of width, straight to the man on the offside boundary. Just 1 run to get Will Jacks going for the evening. It brings Dom Sibley on strike, who had a really good day out yesterday and had a really good season in the Blast, particularly towards the end of it last year on his return to T20 cricket. Took his time to get going this season, but seems to have found his rhythm in T20 cricket. Yeah,
he just looks really good. He's loading up, bending his knees, he's moving early, and he's looked really impressive, I think. Some of the earlier wickets were a little bit slower, which make him more watchful, but the last few wickets have had a bit of pace. And I think yesterday he showed his class. Looked really good. Just all good cricket shots. I mean, when I used to play, there were a few hacks in there, but he just plays good cricket shots and sometimes find the fielders, but some great shots last night.
Tidy stop from Curry. We saw his brother in action here at the Kia Oval earlier in the season, Scott playing for Hampshire. 2 Curry brothers, both Scotland internationals. For regular viewers of the live stream, we are about, I reckon, 7 strips further across to the gas holder from where we were last time round. So there's a slightly shorter boundary on what is now Dom Sibley's leg side. We were closer to the middle last time out. Short mid-wicket. And that would be 2 runs to Dom Sibley to get himself off the mark.
Very strong area for Dom recently. He's, as I said, he's moving early. His weight's on the front foot, and he played a lot of shots through there last night. Looked really good, and it's a strong area, but a sign of good form when he plays that. If he wasn't in quite so good form, that might be a little bit squarer, but he's played it really nicely, and a good start for him.
So when you were facing the new ball in white ball cricket, what was your immediate feeling or thought when you saw that the keeper was standing up to seam?
Well, I mean, if I go back to someone playing Gloucester as an example, so they're the left arm swing bowler at the top of the, and if you saw Jack Russell behind you, it's like don't overbalance. You know, obviously Simpson's a fantastic keeper, but it's making sure that you're not over the line, because if you just overbalance a little bit and try and flick down the leg side, if the keeper's quick, you can have a stumping. You've got to be a little careful there, and a little bit of swing as well from Curry.
Yeah, mid-wicket's just gone back to the edge of the ring after that previous delivery. Bit of width, and Sibley drives that in front of square on the offside. 2 more runs. You don't often see the 2 fielders out in the power play to seam this square early on. Quite often have someone who's a fine leg.
Yeah, I think that's because the swing is coming back in. As a batter, you're just trying to make sure that you don't play too loosely and open up the stumps. And of course, with the keeper coming up, yes, you can have your square leg, and also they may go short at Dom Sibley. He's quite a few of the short balls in the stands, but he hits hard in the air. It's a bit of support there.
Single to finish the opening over. Surrey 6 runs without loss. Tidy start from Brad Curry.
Yeah, good start, and I think both sides will be happy with where that is. A little bit of swing, but a nice. The wicket looks good. I think we saw the girls, the women on it earlier today, and it seemed to come through as a touch of green, but that doesn't mean that it seams around. In fact, often that means that the ball will come on a little bit quicker and nicely onto the bat. So yes, I think the wicket looks good, and as we often try and predict having seen the first over, what a par score might be. I think I'll be looking at about sort of 175 but it could change from there. But the first, when you look at it, I think that's roughly where you'd be.
It's the trademark Ali Brown early par predictor. It was 3 balls last time, and you were pretty much bang on. You waited an extra 3 balls this time round.
The boundary is a little bit shorter than we saw here last year, probably about another 5 yards in. So we could see a bit higher scoring if that's the case.
James Coles into the attack from the Vauxhall end. A ground that will be familiar to Coles. Coles made his first-class debut here in the COVID year in 2020 as a 16-year-old. I believe he was Sussex's youngest ever first-class cricketer at the time. Known more for his batting, actually, than his bowling. He's been in several England Lion squads over the last couple of years. Very, very, very highly rated young batter. But bowls a fair bit in white ball cricket.
I do think it's good to have spin early on. It just asked the question of an opener, do you want to go over the top? But they've got deep mid-off back, so I think the field is good.
Couple of dot balls in a row for Coles. Worth reiterating that Sussex are missing 3 key members of their side. Harrison, Ward, Tom Alsop and Ollie Robinson all missing this evening. Ward and Alsop, 2 of their more important batters, and we know Ollie Robinson is an international class opening bowler. Had a really good year in the Blast last year too. Oh, just pushed through point. That's raced away for 4. That was very much not hit in anger.
No, I think it's a good sign of the wicket. The wicket has come on nicely. I think the first over swung back in, and it'll give you a good idea that all he's got to look to do is give himself a little bit of room and time it. If he can just get it square, that's rocketed across the wickets over there. It's fairly quick, and that's a good sign that the wicket will be a good one tonight.
Yeah, and a reminder that it's not always about power in the power play. Jacks gives himself a bit of room, and this time does hit it with a bit more oomph. It's a 1 bounce for 2 boundaries on the trot for Will Jackson, Surrey.
I think both sides will probably look to target that side of the ground, the gas holder side. You're probably looking at about 55 yards on that side, and probably 65 towards the Archfield Tennyson side. But yeah, a little bit of room, and he's played that very well.
Looks to give himself room again, but Coles follows him. It's the end of the second over. Surrey 15 without loss after 2.
Yeah, I think Will Jack's been a little bit disappointed there. Any sort of bat on that, and if he could just have beaten square leg, I think he'd have got a lot of value for the shot, but couldn't quite get it on there. But yeah, solid start for Surrey.
When you have a slightly shorter boundary as we do today, how much does that play in your mind as a batter? Is that something you are outwardly targeting?
Absolutely. Why go an extra 10 yards when you can, I mean, for me personally, I'd always look at the ground, find out where the shortest quadrant was, and it could be towards 1 oval square down there. That's probably where you want to target.
Curry to continue. Hit aerially towards mid-wicket, but gets to him on the bounce. Scramble through for a single.
And by having Simpson there behind the stumps, that's stopping the batter from actually coming down the wicket. So, it's a good ploy by Sussex. If he wasn't there, you'd probably come down the line of the stumps, and anything, you've got that short boundary over there. It's probably about 50 yards, I would say, over towards 1 oval square. That's probably where you target, because the keeper is up to the stumps. You are sort of rooted to the crease.
Looks to go aerial. LBW appeal dismissed pretty quickly from the umpire.
It's interesting for Will Jacks. I mean, he's in the international game. He had a completely different role where the fielders are out, and now he's getting back to his roots, which is, you know, what he's done so well over the years. I mean, that's just going down the leg side, and again has swung. But yeah, I mean, look, it's great to see him back open the batting. He's destroyed some attacks over the years, and you know, it's nice to see him back in that position again.
Similar attempted shot from Jacks, doesn't get hold of it again, eyeing up that shorter boundary potentially.
Yeah, and that's what all openers would do. I mean, you know, you know that if you get one of those, I think he probably doesn't need to. It is a little bit of swing, maybe trying to overhit, but you know, you don't need too much. You've got to clear 30 yards for the inside circle, and then you're getting at least 4 and potentially more.
That really wasn't that far away from Jacks' off stump. Good start this from Curry, just 7 runs from his first 9 deliveries of the evening. We were talking about just how short that side of the ground was, and Jacks no more than just helps that on its way towards the long leg boundary for 6.
There's going to be a lot of value towards that side. I think, as we saw in the Hampshire game, it was a little bit a bigger circumference, but here there is absolute value, and that's why Will is targeting that. You'll say there's a couple of balls that were quite close, one down the leg side and one that just missed the off stump. But you know, if you get, you know, a couple of those and over, you could be staring at 12.
How does Curry respond? Looks like the same shot, big appeal from Curry, not given. Jacks really looking to target that leg side boundary. Shake of the head after missing that one. Again, looks a bit leg side. Interesting just looking at the replay of that, just how far back in his crease Jacks is getting.
Yeah, well, he is going to get back because he doesn't want to, in playing that shot, he doesn't want to fall over as he plays it by taking his weight forward. And
that'll be 6 more. Comfortably clear of the rope.
comfortably drops in the crowd.
Yes. Reminder that there's £1,000 to be won if you're in the crowd and you catch one courtesy of Keir. And for the 5th ball in a row, I think, from Will Jacks, targeting that shorter boundary. And it's quite a good summary of how batters go about things in T20 cricket. The bowler's won 3 out of 5 of those balls. The 2 of those that he's lost, they've gone for 6. Jacks takes 12 off those 5 balls, 13 runs off the over, and the over Surrey's.
I think just watching that, he doesn't have to overhit. He doesn't need. He's fetched that round. I'd like to change 175. So probably 195. I think that's. You know, I think that's where they be. And when I talk about the openers being minesweepers, they're trying to find out what that good score is and relay that to the players coming in. And I think from what we've seen so far, I'd certainly up that par score.
Sibley trying to help that round the corner, doesn't quite get hold of it. Nathan McAndrew into the attack from the Vauxhall end. He's been the Glamorgan specialist so far this season. I think combined figures of 11 for 40 in his games against Glamorgan so far this season. Sussex having played Glamorgan twice already, won both of those games. McAndrew, one of 2 Aussie overseas players in the Sussex 11, alongside Daniel Hughes at the top of the order. Oh, beats Jacks on the inside edge, I think. Good pace and carry from McAndrew. First over of the game that we've seen John Simpson standing back.
Certainly a bit more pace than we've seen previously, but he's at a good length there, and that's what when Hampshire came here, they hit a good line. It's important not to give too much width. Any width with that shorter boundary on the gas holder side is you've got no real protection. You've got a deep backward point, but that's it.
Jack's looking to engineer a bit of width for himself there, giving himself a bit of room. Something that struck me during that Kent game was actually an innings by a Kent player, Joe Denley, and how he started quite slowly against Chris Jordan, but then really roared back into life later on that innings. And what struck me was his use of the crease and using his feet to get himself into quite good positions when the bowling's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had a tough time against Chris Jordan, but quite a few have recently. I know Fuller had a tough time against him last night, and you know, he's certainly bowling with the degree of
up in the air, down the ground, and out before. A few bounces, doesn't completely get hold of it, but in the power play, more often than not, you don't actually need to get it over the infield, and you'll more than likely pick up 4, as Jax has done there. He's got off to a bit of a flyer, 25 off 14.
But I think that's his best shot. I think you just got to hold that position, and as I said, we've seen that the ball's coming on nicely. It's a slight tinge of green to the wicket, looks good. He's only got to push that, just punch it back over mid-on, and he's done that very well.
Gives himself room, he's nailed that, hit so hard, and that's thundered into the Kia boarding by the cover point boundary. Real authority in that shot.
That's the sort of ball as a fielder you don't want to. You kind of go for it, but your arms get a little bit shorter.
That's hit so hard. I was just going to say before that ball that Jax before that ball had hit 5 boundaries, and most of them had been balls he hadn't tried to hit that hard. He did try to hit that very, very hard.
Well, he gave himself room, and it was in the right place, and he just timed it very well.
9 from the over so far. Beats him on the inside edge again. Good response from McAndrew. It's 9 from that over. Not too bad from a Sussex perspective. Surrey 37 without loss after 4. Yeah, replay not too far away.
Absolutely.
From Jack's off stump.
In good areas. There's a bit in it if you hit the wicket. But at the same time, if you give any sort of width and you get picked off, any sort of timing, then those square of the wicket are going to be struggling to defend that.
Change from pavilion end for the first time this evening. Sussex skipper Tamal Mills comes into the attack, replacing Brad Curry. So still left arm seam from the pavilion end. Into Dom Sibley, who's 8 off 8.
It's a very interesting field, actually, with short third and 45 up, which would indicate probably that he's going to bowl fairly full, I would say. Any sort of width and anything short, your square men, your 45s on both sides, won't be able to defend that. There is a backward point, deep backward point, and there's a deep square leg, but yeah, they could use the pace here with any width, so it would indicate he's probably going to try and bowl quite full and look to get driven.
One thing you can expect from Mills is genuine pace. What a shot from Will Jacks. Straight down the ground into the second tier of the pavilion for 6. He's looked in sublime touch so far this evening.
He's really found his form. I think he's just got used to the pace of the wicket. Obviously, when you're facing Tamal Mills, you don't need to go at the ball. He's hit that really nicely, and a camera pose to finish.
Oh, shot of the evening.
That's always nice.
Oh, amazing attempt in the crowd, actually. One-handed effort. Here in his left hand. Very nearly he holds on to it. What a shot again from Will Jacks. 6 more.
I think this is a wicket where you've got to be really careful with your pace. If you become predictable, I think obviously Will would expect pace and good pace, but it's very difficult. He's got to bowl straight. He's saying with the field that he's got to bowl straight because any width is going to rock it off, and he'll have to be very clever with his changes of pace. And of course, we know Tamal Mills has a very good slower ball as well. I expect him to bring that out soon.
Goes again, gets away with it, doesn't get hold of it, but it evades the man at short third. They'll pick up 2. Bit of fortune for Jacks. 15 runs from the first 4 balls of this over. Jacks, we're only in the 5th over of the game, but he's already on 43 off 19.
Yeah, great start for Surrey here. My 175 was nowhere near. I think Surrey would be certainly targeting a 200 plus score here. They've got lots of aggression to come in, and if they get off to a good start, and they, I expect them to surpass the 200 mark.
Changing the fields. The backward point is in the ring. An extra man goes out. On the leg side, Jacks targeting the leg side boundary again. Doesn't get hold of it completely, and it's caught. The field change does the trick. And Mills, having gone 2 sixes earlier in the over, gets his man Jacks with a slower ball.
Yeah, change of field, and Will was in a great position there to really kick on. He'd be disappointed with that. He played some great shots, two sixes that were hit with immense clarity, and Surrey would want to stay positive. I completely agree with that, but he hasn't quite got hold of it this time. Good catch in the deep. It's in the sun, which is never easy, but he's taken that very well.
Yeah, very good catch and a big moment for Sussex. Will Jacks, sublime touch early on. He departs. 43 off just 20 deliveries, 4 4s and 4 6s. And just when you thought, you got one serious power play hitter out, in comes Jason Roy in at number 3. Historically unfamiliar position for Roy, but he's done well there so far this season.
It's great to see him starting against pace. I think he likes pace, pace on, and it's exactly where you'd want to have him coming in. I think sometimes when he doesn't come in the power play, if he gets held back a little bit too far, he probably gets a bit frustrated and wants to get in, but a great place to showcase the form that he's in at the moment.
Mills to Roy. Pace on this time. Well fielded at cover point. It's a dot ball and it ends the 5th over. Surrey 52 for 1.
I think it's another belter of a wicket, isn't it, that we see from Lee Fatis here. It's it's impressive. It's green. It's coming on nicely. And sometimes those greener wickets, you don't feel they hold in the wicket. Sometimes players, saw it in the Hampshire game, because of a game or two had been played on it, sometimes it just holds. But a green wicket is something that you look forward to. There were times when I played at Notts and we had some green wickets, but some of them were absolute belters. So you just want that extra pace.
Surrey's pride flag proudly on display over the pavilion, celebrating Pride Month here at the Kia Oval. Brad Curry in for his 3rd over in the power play. Sibley goes aerial, and that's close. That is close. I don't want to make a call on that, and I think we've got a better view than the umpires. He's given 4. Yeah, first shot in anger from Dom Sibley. The field is in on the offside, gives himself a bit of room.
You say shot in anger. I mean, he's held his position really well. He hasn't overhit. That's what I say about Dom Sibley. He's making his move early. He's very still when he hits, really still when he hits, and he hasn't overhit that. He's hit it really well, and he's a foot away from another maximum.
Oh, that's a glorious shot from Dom Sibley. Gives himself a little bit of room again, but this time along the floor to the extra cover boundary. His 2nd 4 in as many balls.
Yeah, a man in form. He's opened himself up. If Curry just swings it in, he'll probably go leg side and drive through there, which is a really good area for him. But at the same time, he's not overhitting, holding his shape well, and 2 excellently played shots through the covers.
And we were talking about it the other night, how quickly you can cover as a batter. Just a couple of boundaries completely changes what your score looks like. 9 off 9, 2 balls ago, 17 off 11 with 4 balls remaining in the power play. Slight change in the field. The man on the offside boundary's gone a bit straighter.
He also runs very well for a big man. He's actually quite quick through the crease, and I'd say he's got two very powerful players to play with. So he's not trying to overhit, he's trying to actually assist them. A little bit how Alex Stewart would sometimes bat with me in terms of taking singles and what have you, trying to rotate the strike. I'd play the aggressive role, Stewart would sort of play around that. But he's better than that, Dom. He's got his boundaries. If you bowl short at him, there's a good chance he'll pull that all the way. And he's hit some crisp shots through the offside, letting the ball come to him. A man in form.
Curry to Roy for the first time. It's got up in the air. The man's coming round from, caught. Second wicket for Sussex. Jason Roy going aerial, targeting that shorter offside boundary. Doesn't get hold of it. Sussex have their second wicket of the evening.
Yeah, it's the lure of the short side of the boundary, and just playing a little bit into out. Didn't quite get all of it. And again, another catch in the deep. Sussex will be very happy to see the back of Jason Roy. He's been in fantastic form this year, and 5 overs of Jason can really turn a match, but not to be tonight.
Yeah, good catch in the outfield from Tom Clark. But sort of what I was alluding to earlier in my question is that sometimes can you be almost too preoccupied by the shorter side?
Don't think so. As a proactive batsman, you're expecting the ball to be in a certain area, and you're either, if you think the bowler is going to bowl quite tight, you try and give yourself some room to create that width. If not, if you then see the ball is wide, then actually you've already preempted what you're going to try and target. Then you're looking for the ball in that area that will allow you to execute that shot. I'd say Jason just sort of forcing that a little bit. You know, wants to get off to a fly. The momentum's there. Will Jacks has got his 40 and 20 balls, and just not quite clearing the ropes. So I don't think he was looking to necessarily clear the ropes. He's trying to hit that straighter and just got a little bit into out.
Skipper Sam Curran, the new man at 4, 2 balls remaining in the power play. Played with respect from Curran.
Quite right to do so. He's in very good form, isn't he, Sam? But he's had an awful lot of experience, and he'll know that going 3 or 4 down in the first 7 or 8 overs, they would know what that path score is. If they just work it around a little bit, there's still plenty of opportunities to be had.
Curry's done a decent job for his team, effectively replacing the role that Ollie Robinson normally does with a new ball. And it's another dot. It's the end of the power play. Surrey 61 for 2 after 6 overs. We've got a change in the commentary box. Phil Walker coming on alongside me for the first time in the evening. Looks like we'll have another change in the Sussex bowling attack. As so often happens, as soon as the power play ends, we see spin. We're not going to see spin, actually. Henry Crocombe in for the first time this evening. He was part of that England Lions squad that took on India A down at Canterbury and up in Northampton a couple of weeks ago.
So it's going to be pace from the pavilion end. Henry Crocombe not yet featured. There's definite pace and carry in this pitch. You can see just by how far John Simpson is standing back. Saw it against McAndrew from the Vauxhall end, and you're seeing it again here. Standing a good 20 paces back, I would say. So the opening 6 done, the field scatters. 3 on the onside, 2 on the off. They'll have to bowl that again. Well, it might have just maybe tickled the pad, but no. Whistled through, and so it's an iffy start. Interesting to see with that short boundary as whether the short ball ploy against the right-hander is just too risky.
I think so. I think so.
We'll pick up a single in the end. Like misfield.
Sorry, just because as a batter you can miss-hit it and it go for 6. That boundary, as we saw with one of, I think maybe Jacks's first 6 actually, the one that he just helped round the corner. He didn't really put that much power on it, and there wasn't express pace on the ball. He was able to just lift it over. That's a pretty short hit to fine leg in particular. So it's a risky ploy. Maybe different to the left-hander Sam Curran. It's a similar field, it's a mirror image of that field, but with a much longer boundary to Curran's leg side compared to Sibley's leg side. And actually, if we go back to last week against Kent, that's how Kent got Sam Curran, with the short ball.
Yeah, and we saw it a couple of times as well in red ball cricket earlier in the year. Curran playing beautifully, but there's a compulsive element when he faces the short one. He hits it so clean as well, of course, but you are in the game as a fielding side. Just going back to that over, Tamal Mills bowled. I mean, you can clip up those 6 deliveries, can't you? That was high-end box office stuff, really, and that drilled straight 6. Will Jacks, that was still on the rise as it got into the second tier of the pavilion. That was a real showstopper.
I was thinking when looking at the replay, isn't that where Mills is basically supposed to be bowling? Not much wrong with it at all.
There is that short one to Curran, and he's content to control the hook shot, play down on the ball. Yeah, we've said it before, Yaz, when we've watched the Surrey setup practice and range hit, and there's some seriously impressive ball strikers in this 11. But there's something quite special about Will Jacks when you see him in nick, and there's a stillness to how he plays. And he took him for another 6 over straightish mid-wicket. And then Tamal Mills came back, showed real ticker. Only wicket to fall so far in the first 6. And of course, Jason Roy right on the cusp of the end of the power play, spooning one up in the air. And so 2 down for 66 in the 7th. So run rate is decent. It's a good track.
Wasn't far away at all from Crocombe, who I'm excited to see, just because of the type of bowlers England are interested in at the moment. And he's obviously on their radar.
Idly played. Might pick up a couple. He is going to come back for 2. Turns on his heels and he gets back comfortably. Very nicely played. He was practicing that shot in the nets this afternoon, Dom Sibley. His power game's in good order, but there's touch and finesse there as well. 68 for 2, then 7 gone.
Yeah, good start from Crocombe.
Yeah, he's got a good fast bowler's action, hasn't he? Lands hard on that braced front leg, gets a lot of pace over that leg. Bit of snap in the action as well.
Yeah, only 23 years old, part of that England Lions group the other week. Had one really good performance away at Hampshire in the Championship, where he took 6 wickets across the game.
So another young Sussex starlet making a name for himself. Jack Carson into the attack. Conventional off-break bowler. He's got a lot about him, not just with the ball either. Punched into the gap. And excellent work at mid-wicket to keep it down to, in fact, just a single.
Yeah, I think that's Tom Clark again.
Yeah, it is.
We caught Jason Roy earlier in proceedings. Timed really nicely from Sam Curran.
Yeah, he's so strong through there against the spinners, both left arm orthodox and right arm. Plays through straight mid-wicket, so strong. Tossed up this time, and Sibley on the sweep. Intent to pick up a single. Jack Carson, very impressive red ball figures, making a decent fist of white ball cricket as well, but making good runs as well for Sussex in their Championship side. He's not too far away from recognition at a higher level. That's in the slot, and that's gone, and plenty. And another one grasped in the stands. This is becoming a theme here in South London.
Yeah, doesn't quite get his length right. And with that shorter leg side boundary, I know that on paper he's got the matchup off spinner, supposedly turning the ball away from the left-hander, but that leg side boundary is so short that if he errs in length, Sam Curran will lick his lips and target that shorter side.
Flatter this time. And well struck, but straight to the man. So just a single from 2 attacking shots in this over. Both could have gone for 4. Carson needs good support in the field here on a flat one with a relatively short boundary. And 2 players very much in form. Sam Curran loves the slow men, especially batting from the pavilion end. He just has an eye for this shot. Another one straight to the man. So 2 useful dot balls. Carson getting into his work here. Can he get out the over? One delivery to come.
I think Curran will be frustrated by those last 2 deliveries. Struck them pretty well, but just within the reach of the man at extra cover. He's done well both times.
Block hole delivery to finish. 9 then from Jack Carson's first, 77 for 2. This game is bubbling away very nicely.
Yeah, tiny couple of overs for Surrey after the power play. It might not feel as electric as the opening power play, but remember this spell come the Sussex run chase. Surrey, especially with Mitchell Santner in the 11, very, very good at applying the squeeze at the end of the power play. And Surrey quietly picking up 16 runs with no alarm in the last 2 overs.
Crocombe to continue then. Helped around the corner off the hip, and that does go all the way. Beautifully timed. Sam Curran is away here. It's in good rhythm.
Yes.
Crocombe round the wicket, asking for that shot to be played on that angle, really. It's not quite the line that he's looking for. But you can understand the temptation when you are trying to defend that shortish boundary on the offside to the left-hander. Just has to try and recalibrate that line a touch. Yeah, just a little too short. And so a good start to the over here for Surrey.
Just on that boundary from Sam Curran, he did so well to find that exact gap between the 2 fielders deep on the leg side, because they're really not that far away. It's a long boundary, and it was
trying to defend that shortish boundary
between them
on the offside to the left-hander. Just has to try and recalibrate that line a touch. Slower ball slapped wide of the man. In fact, doesn't get too much of it, but he'll come back for a couple. Considers a third, but intent for 2. Thoughts on Curran at 4? It looks like this is his place now long term.
I think the more we watch Sam Curran bat in white ball cricket, I think the clearer it is that his home is closer to the top of the order than someone who comes in as a finisher towards the end. We've seen it with England. His better days with the bat with England have tended to have come from the middle order rather than numbers 7 and 8. We've seen it increasingly in domestic cricket, both here in the Blast but also in the 100.
Straight to the man, so a much needed dot ball for Crocombe.
Especially if you speak to the T20 nerds, the data analysts, they will talk about how important it is to have a left-hander as well in the top order. And I know that Sussex are a side with several left-handers in the top order, but there aren't actually that many around the white ball game in England. So to have that option in your top 4 is extremely helpful.
Slower ball and well bowled, slightly befuddled Sam Curran. He's come back well here. A couple of deliveries to go. 7 conceded so far. Showing his versatility as well is Henry Crocombe.
I think with Curran for a long time when he first came into the England setup for that home series against India now 7 years ago, one of the things that stood out very early on was his cricketing smarts.
Slower ball again. So he's varying his pace and his lengths, keeping Sam Curran guessing. 1 delivery to come.
And I think
the 9th.
Higher up in the order, he's able to mould a game rather than simply react to one.
Surprised that he's currently outside the England setup? And do you think his time will come again?
To the second question, I think it will. To the first question, I'm not necessarily surprised, because I think there have been several opportunities where England could have brought him back into the test fold over the last year or so, and they chose not to.
Sibley carving it away behind square, pick up 2 more. Complete control of his game. 87 then for 2, 9 gone.
It's an amazing thing to say about someone who's only 26, who's been a player of the tournament in a T20 World Cup that England won for his work with the ball. But I think we're increasingly seeing that he's more of a top order batter who bowls rather than a new ball bowler who bats. And that might mean that for now, England opportunities are slightly harder to come by. He's not been involved in any format under McCullum. And now McCullum is obviously cross-format head coach. But you throw it forward a year or two, who knows how much longer Ben Stokes plays. He's by far the most obvious option for a seam bowling all-rounder in the top 7 should England look to replace Stokes in a like-for-like manner.
It'll be Danny Lamb. First sighting with the ball. Danny Lamb back in the side for this one. Very useful all-round cricketer. Curran on the smash, straight to mid-wicket. I think you're going to see a lot of these kinds of deliveries, especially now with the right-hander batting at the pavilion end with that further boundary to his left. And so Lamb will have to follow Crocombe's mould here and vary it a bit, drag his lengths back. Sibley is in such good nick that anything under his eye line, you feel he's just going to punch it through that inviting gap at straightish extra cover. Well bowled. Will it fall kindly for in the bowler? No, it doesn't. Perfectly placed by Dom Sibley, who ambles back for a couple. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Lamb just lost his footing as he got within a couple of yards of the ball. Sibley picks up 2. It's a vast space to the leg side because you have all the leg side fielders right on the rope.
There is that variation in length as we've been talking about. The slowish bouncer, very hard to get away.
We talked about the value of left-handers. It's specifically because left-handers mean you have more left-hand, right-hand combinations at the crease. And when you have a shorter boundary like we have here, it means that every over for at least one of the batters, there is that shorter side to contend with for Sussex.
Excellent work at extra cover.
And especially when chasing, you hear teams increasingly talk about how they will target specific ends, that, you know, if you're chasing 10 runs and over and there's one short side, they'll say, okay, we need 12s from the over where we have the short side and 8s from the over where we have the long side. With the left-hand, right-hand combination, you have a bit more flexibility.
That might be too wide, and indeed it is. Marginal,
you can
the right call.
See, sorry, what Danny Lamb is trying to do. He's hiding the ball outside Sam Curran's off stump, protecting a shorter leg side boundary. And he's got protection for that much wider delivery. There's a deep backward point, there's a man at cover point. The offside sweep is pretty square too.
Let's have some of that though. That's gone all the way. Flat and hard, and right out of the meat. Sam Curran, it suits his eye. Out the way to the old cricketers pub. He just fancies that angle and that shot. How many times over the years have we seen him just open that front shoulder and let fly? 24 from 17. Into his work. Good comeback and a much needed dot ball to finish off. So 11 from Danny Lamb's first over. 7 bowlers already used by Sussex. Smile Mills ringing the changes and bringing himself back here. All action his first over. One 1 over so far from that exocet left arm of his. 15 runs. All to Will Jacks. And yet he got his man at the end of that over. And so he's a game changer. One of the most dynamic bowlers in the English game. Still got great pace and great nous as well, which is not always remembered when it comes to Jamal Mills. An intelligent quick. With great control of the slower ball. Knows exactly when to bowl it. And he tends to land it more often than not. Begins with a slowie.
But also well outside Sibley, the right-handers off stump. It's 2 overs in a row now. You see the seamers throwing it really wide when they're bowling to the batter with a short leg side boundary. Good partnership this for Surrey. 38 runs added since the power play in just 4.1 overs.
Going to run hard here. I reckon he's in comfortably for 2. Well played, Sammy Curran. 100 up then. In good time, just a tick past the halfway point. What was his lordship's prediction? Did he give you a number?
Yeah, it was in the 170 region. But to be fair, he retracted that very quickly.
Then upped it.
He did up it. He did up it to, I think, around 200. It's what Surrey are on track for at the moment.
A little hop and a skip just to get into his action. Jamal Mills. Extraordinary fast bowler. Didn't pick up a cricket ball until he was 15 years old. A few years later, he was in the bowling for England. One of the nicest and smartest blokes on the circuit as well. Always got a word for you. Sibley hacks straight to the man and makes his ground comfortably enough for a quick one.
A point Ali made earlier was actually how well Surrey have run.
Yeah.
And it's been a feature of this innings that even in the overs where they don't necessarily find the rope, you look up and actually they've nicked 7, 8 or 9 off it. And that's what this partnership has done so well. They lost 2 wickets in quick succession at the end of the power play, and these two have been able to consolidate, preserve wickets, but also they've scored at a good, healthy rate. That innings run rate, still nearly 10 runs and over.
Another slow ball this time. Curran again coming back for 2. He's going to be tight, and he would have been gone, Dom Sibley, for all money. He'd given up the ghost. I wonder even if Tamal could have maybe got back to the stumps. He was so far down. And a conflab between Surrey's batters. I have to say, yes, I didn't think 2 was on. When he dropped it, he timed it a bit too well, a bit too much energy on the shot. Mid-wicket was there, quick. Dom Sibley, after you'd just been praising them about how well they were running, he was shy of a good 3 or 4 yards. Anyway, fight's on. Feel to this cricket match now. 11 gone then, 106 for 2. Curran retains the strike. He's going tidily on 30 from 22, and exactly the same from Dom Sibley as well.
I think that's quite an interesting over because Jamal Mills in the middle overs of a game where Surrey have got off to a good start. You'd say 8's a pretty good result for Jamal Mills. But at the same time, Surrey will be feeling, well, that's the guy who's played a lot for England. He can bowl 90 miles per hour. He's a king at the death. We've not scored a boundary off him in that over, and we've scored 8. We've maintained that momentum. We've not lost any wickets. That's a pretty good result for Surrey as well.
And the Ramones blasting out as well. It's a good place to be on a Wednesday night. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday, right. Nathan McAndrew back into the attack, bowled sharpish just for that 1 over earlier. It's coming off the back of 6 for 21 as well, I'll have you know. His best T20 figures in the previous game against Glamorgan. Become a very, very useful, reliable part of this unit at Sussex.
Yeah, 11 for 40 in his 2 games against Glamorgan this season.
Oh, you'll take it. Another slower ball, hoiked into the onside, just shy of mid-wicket. That is the danger as the right-hander looking down from this end, from the far end, as another slower ball comes down, and it's a good 80 metres out to that boundary. You've got to get it right out of the screws or else you're in trouble. As it was, you didn't get enough of it to bother that fieldsman on the boundary, but this is the dilemma for the right-hander. Sometimes wonder perhaps making room and staying offside could be a better option. See what Sam Curran offers. Skewed and safe. Again, just as we saw with Sibley a few overs back, the outside edge, the miscue lands safely. Swirled behind the head of backward point. At one moment it looked like he might have been able to get there, but just out of reach. So living dangerously, these two.
They batted really well as a pair, but they've had a few moments of luck in the last 5 minutes. Couple of miscues landing safely. That near run out in the previous over 2. Wide on that occasion, but expect McAndrew to look to bowl really tight to Sibley, giving him no width at all. 4 men on the leg side boundary, no one in the ring on the leg side, and there's no one on the boundary in front of square in the offside. So expect McAndrew to dig it into the hip.
Does he dare give himself room, Dom Sibley? Follows him, timed beautifully, but won't beat the man. Comes back for 2.
Sorry, brilliant running from Sam Curran. Straight away, as that 2 brings up the 50 partnership. As soon as Sibley hit the ball, as you say, he timed that really nicely to the man at deep mid-wicket. Curran, who knew he'd be coming back to the danger end for the second run, called 2 immediately. Ran with great intent. And again, not a boundary in this over, but a good start. I'm sorry, 6 off the first 4 balls.
Hard this time, but again, there is cover. But a lot of that. But Sussex have positioned their boundary riders cannily here, and so just a single. It's okay for now. Surrey are just simmering here.
Now, what Surrey have managed to do is they've deprived Sussex of having a really good over. Even though Sussex have had a couple where they've kept the Surrey pair quiet, there's not been an over that's gone for under 6 for a while.
Smash for 4, nobody move. He's threatened that shot a few times. This time, Surrey skipper gets one away. So useful kick from the final delivery to get yourself into the final 8. 117 for 2. Sam Curran on to 36. He's looked good tonight.
Yeah, there's a decent little spell there without a boundary from a Sussex perspective, but a bit of width for that final delivery from McAndrew. And Curran thrashes that to the offside boundary for 4. 11 runs from the over. That innings run rate just under 10 runs and over, with 8 wickets remaining as we come into the final 8 overs.
It's going to be James Coles back into the attack. Left arm darts. Another of Sussex's young guns, really. 21 and a bit. Played a lot of cricket for a 21-year-old in all the formats. England Lions cricketer as well. There's a lot of things right.
Yeah, really excited to see him back this evening. He's been Sussex's standout batter so far this summer.
I saw him at Lord's against Middlesex live, and Looked in classy touch. Easy on the eye. Gone up for it, straightish. Umpire says no. Curran scampers through for a leg bite.
Looked a decent shout initially. We'll have a look at the replay. That was really firing quickly from Coles. Curran looking to go leg side. Hurried by Coles.
Over this so far. Block hole and a play and a miss, so just 2 singles from the first 3 deliveries. Sibley overhitting for perhaps the first time in this innings.
It's another ball from Coles that just rushes the Surrey batter. It's 3 balls in a row where he's not given it any air at all. Started it in with decent success so far. 3 runs from the over, 2 balls remaining. Can he get out of it?
Curran chips it over the bowler's head, and Sibley comes back to the danger end.
That was an amazing shot.
Yeah, deliberately so, just bunted it. Perfectly placed. So, equal highest score for Sam Curran in T20 this year since assuming the captaincy. He's simmered really with the bat, 3 30s and a 20 so far this year. Feels like a good night for him, doesn't it? To go big. Slapped straight to the bowler. Apologies all round. Well, James Coles has deserved that. He bowled 2 very, very miserly overs. Varied his pace. Control of length as well. He sought out the block hole, he's pulled it off. He's driven that one into the pitch, and Sammy Curran, bang on cue, gets to 38 and perishes. So Sussex needed that. 1-2-2 for 3 now. The skipper goes. With 7 to go then. Surrey in a promising position here on a good flat track with a bit of pace and carry. Laurie Evans swaggering to the crease in his inimitable style. He's in good nick as well. He's in good form at the moment. All right, so to take you in to the final 7 is going to be, as ever, the ubiquitous Rana and Ali Brown.
Change of ends for Crocombe, in from the Vauxhall end. Flick towards fine leg. A comeback for 2. It's been a feature of this knock from Dom Sibley. He's run really, really well. Run hard between the wickets. Up onto 38 now. Big over that, Ali, from Sussex, because Curran and Sibley were just getting between 8 and 12 runs and over without alarm. Scoring quickly, but also consolidating. I'll be wide.
Yeah, they got a really good base. I think they're in a great position. 7 overs. They've got plenty of wickets in hand, and they can really go from here. You know, I know we mentioned earlier 200 was around about where they want to be. If they have a good couple of overs, they can probably exceed that. But yes, they've got a good base and a man in form in.
Sibley takes on a leg side boundary. Doesn't quite get hold of it. It's been a feature of the innings so far, actually. It's been very, very hard to find the boundary when Sussex have dug it into the pitch and bowled slightly shorter to the right-hander from the Vauxhall end or the left-hander from the Pavilion end.
I think they bowled quite straight, haven't they? And they're trying to target sort of the rib area, sort of waist high, and you know that's what Chris Jordan did in the last home game very successfully. But the batter has to try and create that room. As I said, Laurie Evans in very good form at the moment and look to utilise these last 7 overs.
Sibley, quick single from the non-strikers end. Very quickly turned back from Laurie Evans.
I mean, he's done a lot of running, Dom, and you know I've been in the same position myself. When when it gets up to about 30 degrees, you don't want too many 2s and 3s. So the odd boundary is quite helpful, but I'm sure he's taken a lot of water on board.
Short and pulled. Oh, if that was a clean pickup, could have been tight. Sibley and Evans set off as soon as Evans struck it. Slightly different field for the new man Evans. Mid-wicket in the ring. He's out of the ring. The set batter, Dom Sibley. What have you made of watching Crocombe live in an England Lion squad a couple of weeks ago? 23 years old. Short, pulled hard and pulled for 6. That's a massive boundary on the leg side, and Sibley has cleared it comfortably. Dug in short from Crocombe. Sibley's taking it on, and he picks up 6.
Well, he was 50% on short balls going for 6 that we've seen in the last couple of weeks, and he's now taking it to 60%. He's early on the front foot, and anything there he does go for the full. He's going to get it the full way, and he's very strong on that shot. But Crocombe's been very good, I think. But there comes a point where you actually keep hitting bat over length. You're kind of looking for that length as a batter, so he'll need to mix it up as well. I don't think he'll be bowling it short again to Dom Sibley.
That's a massive boundary on the leg side. Good test for the youngster. How does he respond? Final ball of his third over. Takes the pace off, but again, it's down the leg side. 12 off the over so far, 1 ball remaining.
And he'd be conscious of that cut-off time at 7:49 as well.
Leg side, out. Timed really nicely actually from Dom Sibley, but straight to the man on the long lead boundary. It was the other end, Ali. That would have been 5-6 rows back.
Well, it's a lovely shot. I mean, he's timed the ball really well tonight, hasn't he? He is a player in form. He's a bit unfortunate there. He's gone through with the shot. The player didn't have to move at deep square leg. It was a fairly comfortable catch at a height that you're really looking for. But still, he's played very well. Again, his strike rate is excellent. He just doesn't hit bad shots. You know, that's a well-timed shot, and it's incredibly promising for the championship coming up as well. But he just looks in a good place. It's a bit of a flick.
Out. Timed really nicely actually from Dom Sibley. Fine innings from Dom Sibley. He's had a brilliant 24 hours. Hit 70 last night in that win over Hampshire at the Utility Bowl. 45 off 32 this evening. He's put his side into a really strong position. 134 for 4 after 14 overs. James Coles will continue. 2 new batters at the crease now.
Yeah, it's a good time for Coles to bowl. Fresh batter at the crease, and Laurie Evans just on 1. So yeah, I mean, he'll be looking to try and get through with a 6 singles hopefully, but for Sussex. But you feel they're in a strong position, and Tom Curran certainly won't die wondering.
Dug in full again from Coles. We saw him have a fair bit of success with the Yorker in the previous over. Almost his stop ball last time round. Fired in from around the wicket. Bit of air this time, and that swatted past backward point. Really good work on the offside boundary. They also run well, come back for 3.
Yeah, very good running, turning that 2 into 3. It's a good time for Coles to bowl here. As I said, he's 2 players that probably just don't want to lose a wicket for the next couple of overs and then go again. But they run very well for 3.
Yeah, so often when we talk about boundary dimensions on either side, we think about it in terms of boundaries and how easy it is to hit a 6 towards the short side. But actually, Surrey have a lot of 2s and 3s to the longer side of the ground. A couple of times where Sam Curran just dropped it into the leg side.
I mean, the thing is here, you're probably eyeing up the slog sweep. I would say. You've got a 50-yard boundary that you know you can carry. It's probably into the sun if you don't quite get it correctly as well, but it's not a huge hit if you can just find the right length to hit.
It's another very tidy over from James Cole. 6 runs from it. Surrey 140 for 4 after 15 overs.
Yeah, still well set. 5 overs, 6 wickets in hand, and still hitters to come. I still think it's well set. You're looking at Surrey will be targeting 190, and with a possible 200 if they can get there.
Good couple of overs for Coles. Brought back into the attack after bowling 1 up top. 11 runs, 1 wicket from his last 2 overs. Predominantly firing it in, cramping the Surrey batters for room. Andrew back into the attack from the Vauxhall end.
I think he'd be very tight on the wickets here. I think there's a gap behind backward point, and there's a backward point you can't really see. There's a third man. It's at this time that the sun gets very low, and that becomes very difficult. So anything hit hard to backward point it's going to be a yard either side. You think you get full value. I think they'll be trying to create some room.
Hit aerially towards leg side, but straight to the fielder at deep mid-wicket. McAndrew picks up his first of the innings, and Evans departs for just 3.
Yeah, trying to take on the longer side. McAndrew trying to hit the wicket again. He is bowling quite tight, but the longer side not being able to find it, and a comfortable catch indeed.
Yeah, young George Thomas patrolling the leg side boundary. Relatively straightforward catch, and Sussex just coming back into the contest. Not too long ago, Surrey were 122 for 2, now 141 for 5. We know they bat very deep, but still every wicket just pokes a hole in the home side momentum.
They create some room.
Hit aerially towards leg side. Newman straight to the fielder at deep mid-wicket. Been a pretty regular McAndrew picks up his first of the innings. Season. He's not had a lot of balls at the crease, often batting not just at 7, but occasionally even lower down the order. But he's a highly regarded young batter at a statement innings of the One Day Cup last year. He's 20 years old. Real opportunity here. 4.4 overs remaining in the innings. A lot of work still to do from a Surrey perspective.
So he hasn't had that many balls, but I think what I have seen of him, he has looked really good. I mean, he was out second ball here against Hampshire, but when they were setting a total, and I felt his first ball he struck really nicely, timed right from the get-go, and his second ball he was caught at mid-off, but he was really unlucky. We were trying to push the score on, and he just couldn't quite get the elevation. But I like the look of him, and the fact he's got sort of 5 overs to play a significant knock will be really good for him.
Yeah, it's a hard team to get into, this Surrey side, so the fact that he's in the first place suggests that he's really highly regarded. And also, it's a weird one in that batting at 6, 7 and 8 is a really difficult position to bat in T20 cricket. You don't have very much time to have a look.
It's not often you say, actually, someone who quite impressed you inside 2 balls and only scored 1. But there was something that was very likeable.
Ramp for room, dug in short from McAndrew. He's got a really high backlift, doesn't he, Sykes? Almost as a baseball-style backlift.
I think it's the modern-day player as well. I mean, what he'll learn is not to show any pain. Even though that really hurts in the rib cage, you don't want to show the bowler or anything. It's like you brush it off, but you inside you're hurting, but you just can't show it.
I think that slow motion replay showed that he was showing it on the outside as well. Good spell this from Sussex. 4 runs from that over. Surrey now 144 for 5 after 16.
Just be careful not to lose their way here, because you can turn a 190. you've got 4 overs, they'd still be targeting sort of 180, 185, which I think is a fairly decent score on that. And as long as Surrey can hold the, not give too much width towards the shorter boundary and protect that, I think that won't be a bad score. But as I said, the next couple of overs are pivotal. They can't afford to lose a couple of wickets in the deep, but yet you've got to stay positive and a good score still on the cards. So I think they're still well placed. But, they want to be scoring at least 8 and over, certainly the next couple of overs.
Sykes goes down the ground. And it's gone for 6. For a second, I thought the fielder long on was in the game, but he wasn't quite able to haul the ball back inside the rope. So Sykes with a 6. Third ball at the crease.
Strong shot down the ground. Just enough to clear.
Another Yorker from Coles. Real statement of intent that from Sykes.
Yeah.
Third ball at the crease, young man.
Absolutely. I think he's he's got a perfect position here to get a nice sort of 25 if he can get there, but a great start.
Goes aerial again towards the longer side of the ground, and it's 6 more. Ollie Sykes, what a start to his innings. 14 off 5, 2 6s already in this James Coles over.
Love the way he's planting. He's pushing on that front foot, and anything that's missing the Yorker is going. Strong boy.
Goes down the ground again.
That's all the way.
And it's 6 more. Thomas on the cow corner boundary, got his hands to it.
I love the confidence of youth. There's a few that were probably just back in the day would have been told to nudge that for a single, but he feels he's got the strength to clear it, and he's got there with a tiny bit in hand.
So different type of delivery from Coles. It wasn't the missed Yorker, gave that one some air, and Sykes came down the ground and once again targeted the long side of the ground. 6 more. Fired in wide of off stump, dot ball. Really needed change of momentum from Surrey. A couple of quiet overs. 18 runs from this one. Coles, a big part of Sussex's resurgence in this game. It's third over, back to back from the pavilion end. Final ball of his spell now. Sykes uses his feet again. Gets to the other end, picks up 1. 19 runs off the over, all off the blade of Ollie Sykes.
I love the confidence of youth. He's just he realises he can hit that boundary, and he can probably go 20 yards over it. I know he didn't quite get all of them, but they're not short hits. But the fact that he's realised the situation as a young player and thinks, right, this is where we need to get to. There are 5 wickets in hand, but there's no fear of failure, and there's some really good 6s in there. I think this is where you want Tom Curran's experience to, he would have faced Taman a lot more than Ollie Sykes would have seen, and you feel it'll be a mix of pace and slower balls in here. Great bit of momentum by young Ollie Sykes. I don't think he'd have seen a lot of Tamal Mills, but I'm sure Tom Curran will have seen a lot more than Ollie. Again, the field is indicating that he's probably going to go pretty full. When you look at that, because anything short, if it were flat, would probably go over the keeper. Anything with any width, 2 men there wouldn't be able to stop it.
Ace off
6
from Mills, and that's gone miles. Nearly out the ground from young Ollie Sykes. Pace off, he spots it immediately, And it's his 4th 6 of the evening, and he's only been out there 11 balls.
He looks a hell of a talent. I mean, that's you've got one of the quicker bowlers in the competition. He's bowled a slower ball. He will be aware of his mix of pace if he's seen what Tamal bowls, and he's dispatched that for another non-1,000-pound catch in the stands.
Amazingly still as he was waiting for that ball. 10 off the first 3 in this Tamal Mills over. Bit of width, pace off, and it's a wide. And you see Mills sprinting back to his mark because as Ali teed up a couple of overs ago, Sussex in danger of missing the cut-off time, which proved pivotal in the last game here at the Kia Oval. Kent in the field in the second innings.
Minute, haven't they? And of course, if they don't make the cut-off, then they suddenly got to bring that extra fielder in at the end.
Yeah, we saw Matt Parkinson bowling with just 4 men out in that final over, defending 9. Pace on this time and beat Sykes.
It looks good though. He's only got boundaries on his mind, and he's certainly pushing towards a score that Surrey would be very happy with.
What do you reckon? Do you think pace on again from Mills?
We'll mix it. I mean, you know, he's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Yorker.
Pace off this time. Although it's only gone to mid-off in the ring, they do think about 2 briefly. Entirely sure what happened there.
Well, he did. I mean, I must admit, Ollie, last time when he faced his two balls, he was very quick between the wickets, and he was batting with Laurie Evans at that time, and he was going in a slightly different gear to Laurie when running. He's, you know, when you're a bit younger, you can push those hamstrings a bit more when you get in your 30s.
12 runs from the over so far, 1 ball remaining. Flicked to the leg side, not too dissimilar a shot to the one that Dom Sibley was dismissed on, where he flicked a full ball on leg stump straight to the man at deep backward square leg. But it's 2 more to the Surrey total. 14 runs from the over, very handy for the home side. 177 for 5 with 2 overs remaining.
They're very nicely set, aren't they? Ollie Sykes has brought some really good momentum at a time when Surrey certainly needed it. He's looked like he's been playing for years and not just making his way in the game, but you know, they're perfectly set. 200 would be the target, and they've got a great chance of getting there.
Yeah, good little spell from Sussex, but 33 off the last 2 overs for Surrey. Vast majority of those runs coming from Ollie Sykes. Slow ball that's short, and Sykes gets off strike.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tom Curran try the helicopter shot into the gas holder side. I know he played that very successfully the last over, and now he's got a slightly shorter boundary. Whether he walks across and tries to make it there, but he's only got deep square leg to avoid if he can pull it off.
McAndrew's had a pretty tidy night so far. 1 for 24 from his first 3 overs. Ooh, gets that completely wrong. Not just a wide, but a no ball for height, over waist height. And it'll be a free hit as well. 2 runs for a no ball in domestic cricket in England. A tidy start to the over, I'm sorry. 3 runs from it already. And that'll be 4 more. Not quite where Tom Curran intended, but gave it a bit of heft. And it flies off the outside edge to the vacant 3rd man boundary for 4. Suddenly, 7 off the first 2 legal balls off the over.
Yeah, good start, and also Sussex will be very close to that cut-off. So the last over, they could find that they've only got 4 on the outfield.
Yeah, a lost ball wouldn't help at this point. We're hitting to the second tier. There's 2 minutes to go. And that'll be 4 more. Pace off this time for McAndrew, but once more, Curran gets it between short third and the keeper. Runs away for 4, 11 from the over so far, with 3 balls to come. Surrey, 12 runs away from 200.
Got 2 men in there now, but see if he can get it through the middle of them.
This time he goes in front of square, nails it to the extra cover boundary. McAndrew looked to go full outside off stump again. And Curran more than equal to it. It's a really good shot, because actually McAndrew pretty much nails that wide Yorker.
Struck nicely. I mean, I think it shows how good the wicket is. I know they've mixed their pace and they've hit the wicket, but when up there, it shows that the pitch is a good one. Surrey have a great score on the cards.
Given full and straight, Curran looking to sweep the ball towards the leg side. Comes across his stumps and very quickly given out LBW. McAndrew with his second of the evening, but crucially also a dot ball. 15 runs from the first 4 balls of the over. Sussex needed that. A handy cameo from Tom Curran, 20 off 13.
Yeah, I thought between them they played really well. They put great momentum into the game. I think Surrey have played it really well in the middle periods. They scored well without actually keeping themselves in the game. That's not a hard decision to make, is it? But yeah, that's hitting the bottom of middle. But I think they were pretty shrewd in the middle overs, where they actually didn't lose wickets, which allowed Ollie Sykes and Tom Curran to come in and play these cameos, and now they just got to try and finish it off to try and pass 200.
Yeah, a feature of this innings is there have been very, very few quiet overs from a Surrey perspective. James Cole snuck through a couple in the middle, but that aside, really, Surrey have let very, very few overs pass them by. Curran and Sibley earlier on, even when they weren't finding the boundary, able to just rotate the strike enough to at least pick up 8 in an over. It's the end of the penultimate over. 15 runs from it, Surrey. 192 for 6. You were checking your watch, Ali.
Yeah, I thought good experience from Chris Jordan there. Just saying, I can't hear. What did you say? Oh, it's the cutoff. Okay, so be interesting to see. I mean, I know it was 750. It's now 751. So it'd be interesting to see if they only allowed the 4 men out, which I think could be the case.
I think that's right. Or maybe not, actually.
They're looking for 5, but they're not quite sure. They've allowed 5 out.
Yeah, that cut-off time's not for the end of the innings. It's for start of the final over. Ali's watch is saying it's 7:51, as is the time on the big scoreboard too.
Yeah, they are bringing an extra fielder in.
There we go. So 5 men in the ring, 4 men out. You're normally allowed 5, but Sussex have missed the cut-off time. Doesn't get hold of it, but Chris Jordan sprints through for a quick single.
Well, I'd like to think we'll get at least 3 balls of Ollie Sykes, I think, and you know, if Chris Jordan can hit the boundary like he did last week, that'll be good. But if Ollie Sykes can get hold of one, it's going to go. He's well set up to that short boundary as well. If he actually reads it and gets half of it, he's going to get full value for the stroke. 3
of the fielders in the ring from point and behind square on the offside. What do you think this signals from Tamar Mills?
Probably slower balls. Sharp.
Full and straight and driven over cover for 4. Chris Jordan starting his evening with the bat like he finished last week with a boundary.
I'd say that was a cleaner hit than the one he finished with last week, but he's got more pace on the ball. There's not much to clear, and he's found that short boundary with ease.
Again, just shows how little room for error the bowler has. Really not that far off from the perfect Yorker from Tamar Mills, but Jordan just able to get underneath it. Pace off, and that's a wide. Score up to 198 with 4 legal deliveries remaining.
Yeah, I feel that they're setting a decent score. It feels like it's sort of 15 over par, 10-15 over par. Though I think with the way that Surrey have bowled over the last couple of weeks, it could feel like a bit more than that.
Yeah, a reminder that Sussex are missing 2 of their key batters so far this season. Harrison Ward and Tom Allsop both missing through injury. Up in the air, it'll land safely. Just 1 from Chris Jordan. It brings Ollie Sykes on strike with 3 balls remaining.
I like that. I think that's a good. I think that's a good position for Surrey. I feel like one of these could go. I'm going 2 slow balls and 1 pace on. How about you?
Well, the pace off ball was the one that went nearly out the ground, so I think he might start pace on.
Everyone behind square is up.
Goes pace off. It's very wide, almost off the cut strip, and it brings up the Surrey 200 with 3 balls remaining.
Yeah, he's trying to steer away from the short side. He knows if he gets that wrong, really he wants to get that somewhere between the crease line and the stumps, because he knows what Ollie Sykes is lining up. Any pace on isn't going to be stopped by anyone unless it goes through to the keeper.
That'll be 4. Pace on outside the off stump, but there's no protection on the offside boundary behind square. So if Sykes is able to get it past the man at short third, it was always going to run away for 4, as it did there. Sykes on to 38 off just 16 balls. It's his first 4 of the innings. What a fine hand this has been from the Surrey youngster. You can see why they've instilled so much trust and faith into the 20-year-old.
I could see him as a pinch hitter. I really like what he brought in 2 balls. I like even more what he's brought in 16 balls. He can hit big, and having that right left hand is a great option for Surrey to have too.
And that will be 4 more. It's the same part of the ground. Pace on again from Mills. Again, it's not exactly where Sykes would have been trying to hit the ball, but there's no protection on that boundary, and with Mills looking to bowl so far outside Sykes' off stump, he is always vulnerable to the ball running away for 4 in that direction.
Well, he's perfectly set up for anything that's straight that he can hit towards the gas holder side, and any width he can throw his hands at, which is a great cameo from Ollie Sykes here.
Drilled towards the extra cover boundary, and they'll come back for 2. They'll think about the 3rd. And they eventually opt against it. A fine finish for Surrey. They end on 210 for 6. The star, young Ollie Sykes, just 20 years old in his first full season in the Surrey team. He's not had too many opportunities with the bat so far this season, but today, in with 5 or so overs to go, he made the most of that opportunity, finishing on a quite thrilling 44 off 18. Not quite Surrey's top scorer today, that was Dom Sibley. He finished on 45 off 32, continuing his fine form after hitting 70 last night. But in the end, Alistair Brown, 210 for 6. That's a serious effort from Surrey, especially when you consider no Surrey batter got to 50.
No, I think they did it really well. They had aggression up front, which was really good. I know Jason Roy didn't come off, but we saw with Will Jacks, we saw some fantastic striking at the top of the order. I think Dom Sibley glued it all together really well. I think he was very impressive at that time when actually you couldn't lose extra wickets, and I think that gave Surrey the opportunity to build again. And then to see Ollie Sykes, who, as I said, we've we've seen play really well. 44 off 18, a great effort.
Sussex need 211 to win. We'll be back in a few moments, but don't go anywhere, folks, because during the interval, there'll be the Kia high catch live from the outfield. Watch some punters try and take some very, very high catches.
Okay, it's time now for the Kia High Catch Challenge. Let's find out the names of our teams. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex.
Cat.
Kat, we spoke to you earlier, quietly confident about winning this. Over here we've got
Jamie.
Jamie and
Ben.
Ben. Can I just say, absolutely outstanding moustaches. That is what I am talking about. Okay, so you're going to get 3 balls each. Whoever scores the most working as a team will win some amazing prizes. You guys are going to go first. You're going up first. 3 balls. All right, so let's get yourself in position. You come over here. All right, we'll get ourselves out of the way. All right, so well, here we go. Stand by. Move over there a bit, my love. I don't want to. So, are you ready? Okay, let's have the first one. Here we go. Oval, go crazy if he catches it. It's up in the air. Will he catch it? Yes! Okay, number 1. Second ball. Set out a good marker here. It's gone deep. It's gone deep. Oh! Will it be a clean sweep? Will it be 3 catches? Remember, Oval, go crazy. This doesn't happen very often. 3 straight catches. Ho, ho, ho! Boom. All right, your teammate's in. In you go, my friend. Your partner's done all the hard work. 3 balls headed your way. Catch them, put a good score on the doors. Here we go. Ball's on its way. Hey up. I think we might be dealing with professionals here. All right, number 5. Here we go. Oh! All right, final ball coming your way. Final ball coming your way. Here we go. It's gone deep. It's gone deep. Yes! All right, that's 5. Okay, 5 to beat. Outstanding, my friend, outstanding. 5 to beat. Remember Kia Oval, go crazy when they get catched. Here they go. It's gone deep. Not good. 5 left, not a good start. All right, second one, on its way. It's gone short. Oh. Okay, third and final ball heading your way now. Catch this. Oh, well, at least you're consistent. All right, teammate, up you get. It's hard, isn't it? It's really hard. Very hard indeed. All right, 3 balls heading your way. Here we go. It's gone deep, gone deep, gone deep. All right, okay. Second one coming your way now. Off we go. Oh, he's... All right, Ben, third and final ball heading your way, my friend. Here we go, catch one at least. No. All right, guys, in you come. Come in, come in, come in, come in. Ah, well, you were consistent. Nothing, nothing cool. Come here, you two. Absolute, no wonder you were so quietly confident. I've got to be honest with you. Brilliant catching. All 4 of you are going to win some amazing prizes. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Because you're great sports. So you get a T-shirt each, all right? So that's for you, that's for you, that's for you, and that's for you, my friend. Absolutely outstanding. Give him a big round of applause, Oval. It takes a lot of skill and minerals to come out here in front of nearly 15,000 people and try and catch the balls and fail so badly. All right, coming up, the players will be out on the pitch, but first up, let's go to DJ Tony for some tunes.
So we've got a game on here, folks. Fabulous performance at the back end by Ollie Sykes, a statement knock by an outstanding young talent coming through the ranks at Surrey. So they're going to be defending 210. That is a statement score. But the pitch is true. The outfield is inviting. Those boundaries are certainly out towards the old cricketers' pub, particularly inviting. Run through the scorecard. Will Jacks was brilliant up front, 43 from 20. Dom Sibley played very tidily indeed, 45 from 32. Jason Roy missed out. Sam Curran, 38. Laurie Evans also missed out, just 3 to him. Tom Curran played tidily for 20, and then, as I say, Ollie Sykes, 44 from 18 with 4 maximums. A couple of real classics as well against Tamal Mills. And so he gave Surrey real impetus going into the second half of this one. Surrey can call upon an international class bowling side as well, of course. Gordon, Santner, Nathan Smith. Reece Topley will be getting us going. Going to take the first over from the pavilion end. All to play for here. It's a big game. Both sides going very nicely in the South Group. It's going to be George Thomas to face up first delivery. Good young player making his first appearance in this year's T20. Signed from Somerset. Oh, slip in. Pushes it into the gap, and Chris Jordan smothers it at mid-off. Thomas then away. Daniel Hughes, prolific Aussie left-hander who's been a fabulous signing. Sussex, the top run scorers in the tournament last year. Alistair Brown with me. 210, that's a hefty score.
Yeah, that's a very good score. I'd say probably 20 above par, but I mean it's a good wicket. Surrey obviously in a bit of form. They're very strong bowling lineup.
Umpire offers a wide. Quizzical look by Reece Topley. Probably a fair call, just swinging away from the left-hander.
Nice to see a bit of shape though in the first few overs.
You'll see that for a couple of overs, and then of course these white balls tend to die down quite quickly. Interesting field here, behind square on the offside. Gone up for it. It's just leg side-ish. Yeah, just going back to that field. So Dom Sibley first slip, and then a floating deep fourth slip, if you like. Very peculiar position, but it's a position that Surrey like. Tom Curran's in there for the run saver, and I think the slash outside off stump. And then, of course, the man behind him at deep third.
I think it's a good field. I mean, the ball is swinging. Of course, you've got Reece Topley who gets a lot of bounce with his height. Dom Sibley's in the game in the slips, and a slash down there could easily find any of the 3 behind square.
6-3 offside field. You can afford that, though, with a bowler of Topley's pedigree. As Alistair Brown says, you can bank on him to get that ball arcing away from the left-hander. So pack that offside field as they have. Slashed away. Ollie Sykes was down there at a wideish deep third, but he had no chance. So first boundary 4. Sussex up and running.
He did have no chance, but that's not a long way away from being in a catching position. He's only going to get half of that. I like where the field is behind there. I think Sam Curran's had some interesting fields this year, attacking, which I like. You want to get wickets up front, and he's certainly looking for them.
There is that fieldsman, Tom Curran, in the game. Dabbed, though, and so played with sufficient deftness to scamper through for a single. So Daniel Hughes, 36 years old now, as I say, he was in lethal form last year. Top of the order for Sussex. He's simmered away this year so far. A couple of 30s, a couple of low scores. 25 last time out against Glamorgan, so you fancy that he is due. Bowled him, neck and crop. It's a Reece Topley classic. Exactly what Surrey needed. George Thomas lasts just 2 deliveries. If you're going to drive Reece Topley, you've got to make sure that you play it late, because he gets that new ball talking, and that has screamed through Thomas's off drive. And so, first blood to Surrey.
Perfect line and length, and exactly the start that Surrey were looking for. Wickets up front can really put this game to bed, and it's a perfect line, taking out the top of the stump. Going back a fraction and found the gate.
Tom Clark, the new man. One of many left-handers in this side. It's going to be Tom Curran then, the Vauxhall end, to get us going here. Great to see Reece Topley back and fit, looks strong. Bowling with good pace in that first over as well. There are a few better. The fresh white ball in his hands, and Reece Topley brings real international class to this attack. They can call on half a dozen bowlers who have all experienced and gone well in international cricket. It's a sign of how strong this side is. So, another 6-3 offside field. So, as you say, Ali, further signs that Sam Curran likes to live a little as a captain. It's good to see.
I like it. I mean, it's a field you don't see that often, actually. And he's basically saying, look, I'm not going to give you anything to cut, but as a batter, you might try and find that cut, but in the same time, you've got a slip in there, which has now moved, but I like it.
Chip down the ground, but timed tidily, and that won't go all the way. Chris Jordan will harry it back, but I thought they might have managed to get through for 3, but just a couple.
Yeah, just a push back over the top, but yeah, good signs for Surrey. I think a nice start, an early wicket. They can't afford to lose too many, but they still got to stay positive. They've got to target that gas holder side, I feel. A nice start from Tom Curran.
Gone up for it, Tom Curran. Not much support, just a polite inquiry.
No support at all.
It was a lone shout.
Bit of shape again, though.
Sorry, Tom Clark into this side then. He's just had a couple of run-outs so far this year. Failed to trouble the scorers in the Glamorgan game just gone. And he's not going to trouble the scorers today either. A little inside edge, and the middle stump, in fact, is sent cartwheeling. So Surrey doing this well. 2 down already inside just 2 overs.
Yeah, just trying to take that from outside the off stump, wasn't he, and target that short side, but catching the inside edge and losing the middle pole as a consequence.
Can be a tough game. Tom Clark's bagged his 2nd consecutive duck.
It goes like that sometimes in T20. You know, you go from one game to the next. You can play within, you know, a couple of days of each other, and you find your form, don't you? And from game to game, and if you get a couple of low scores, suddenly, you know, that can easily happen. The luck might not be with you.
For that correction, it is Daniel Hughes two left-handers, and Daniel Hughes is the one to go. So a big one, really. That is a hefty blow for the Sharks.
I think it's the pressure of the scoreboard on the board at the moment. They know they've got to have a good power play. They've got to really be targeting around about 55, 60 as a minimum, I think. A very good start for Surrey.
A lot of pressure on James Coles' shoulders here. He's the form man in this side. Gone up for it. Start. Excellent start by Tom Curran here. Just outside the line, you fancy?
Just a bit high. I wouldn't say that Laurie Evans is a vociferous appealer, is he? I mean, he's kind of, it's like putting your hand up in class for an apologetic, is that out? I mean, it's a good ball, just nipped a little bit, but probably a little bit high.
I was walking at Tom Curran this time. He's away into the onside, but just a single. Surrey are on it tonight. Chris Jordan, lethal in the field.
I think they've been on it for a while, actually. The last few games, they just look a confident side at the moment, don't they? They've beaten some good sides in the last 2 or 3 games. They look like quite a good, well-oiled unit.
10 for 2. All Surrey at the moment. So it's a tricky position here for the batting side, Ali. You'll have been here before. Staring down the barrel of a monster total. Lost 2 quick ones early on. Do you have to live a little now? Is there no choice? Do you have to be prepared to be blown away in order to get somewhere close? Or do you have time to consolidate at all here?
Well, not really when you've got 210 on the board, to be honest. If you had something like 170, 180 on the board, you probably have got a bit of time just to try and get some momentum back into the innings. But because of the pressure, because you have to, and you know, if you end up getting bowled out for 100, you've got to roll the dice, and you know, it's a good wicket, but you're up against a very good Surrey bowling attack. You've got international bowlers everywhere you look, and a big score on the board. It's a hard ask. And to be fair, Sussex haven't necessarily played a side. They have played Somerset, but they haven't played a side who are probably in the sort of form that Surrey are right now, and it is a bit of a step up on their previous wins.
Clark it is then. Still on naught.
I mean, you have got a full international bowling lineup, haven't you?
Literally, yeah.
And you've got Chris Jordan, who you know, I haven't seen bowl better in T20, and the sort of form he's in at the moment. I think being relieved of the captaincy has allowed him to play with complete freedom. He's bowling probably with more pace than he has been for a while. Mitch Santner also in great form, and those two still to come.
Clark is away. That'll be a relief. He's on the board in this year's Vitality Blast.
I mean, it's a tough one. You've got to be positive. Yet at the same time, the quality of bowling is that high at the moment. The areas that they're hitting, it's difficult to take that. You've got to find an over probably in the next 2 or 3 overs where you can get a 10 to 15 to give some momentum. But with 2 new batters at the crease, it's not always that easy.
Coming back for 2, slight hesitation. Makes it comfortably. So it's an early call, but you feel like Sussex's chase hinges on Coles, who's already made his mark this year. A couple of unbeaten 70s. I mentioned earlier, I caught it live at Lord's early on in the piece. 77 not out against Middlesex. He was a cut above everybody else on display that day. Unbeaten 75 against Glamorgan a couple of weeks back. The shot, he's picked him out. Outstanding. Ollie Sykes, it's his night. Coles has to go. Sussex staring down the barrel here. 3 down already. It's going to already take something miraculous for them to get anything from this cricket match. Surrey have been irresistible.
Yeah, great catch from Ollie Coles. I know the other night when he was here last week, he There are a couple of times where he had those misfields tonight. That's a fantastic catch. It's not easy running in at that sort of pace, taking a diving catch, and Surrey well on top at the moment, and a really good night for Ollie Sykes.
So John Simpson looks to me to be the new man. He's in the form of his life in all forms of cricket. He needs to play the innings of his life tonight. Ollie Sykes as well. You've just fancied him feeling good about life after his breakout knock earlier in the piece. Run in, dive forward. It's a fabulous, agile catch, that. Great camera work as well.
As I said, Sussex have to target that short boundary. They have to go for it. You can't just limp to a score just to try and protect your run rate. They've got some big games coming up, and they've got to have a roll of the dice.
2 slips now. Sam Curran going for it. As we say, John Simpson is in the form of his life, and there's further evidence right there. Glorious. Classical cover drive. Not much feet. Don't need it. You time it as clean as that.
Yeah, a couple on the back foot, please. I mean, that's what you want first ball, isn't it? I mean, to execute that, and that's a very good shot.
So three down, and 3 down as well for Surrey. Halfway through the power play. Sussex in all kinds here. 2 willowy left-handers, both with the same bat sponsor. See how we go. Still persisting with this 6-3 offside field. It's good stuff. Glorious. Tom Clark is away now. He's there to hit. It's his shape.
A couple of very good shots there. A fraction fuller than Surrey have been bowling. A little bit of width. But very well put away. You say 2 batters with the same bat sponsor. I mean, we saw the potential man of the match didn't have a bat sponsor for now.
Indeed. The call out.
Yeah.
Young Sykes. No flies on him. His phone will be off the hook tomorrow morning. You watch. By Tom Curran. Bang on a length there. It's just a buzz around this team. You can sense it.
There's a confidence.
Energy.
Yeah, there's a confidence about them, I think, and we've seen that the last couple of weeks. You know, a couple of the 2-2 after 4 games, but 3 of those were away, and the game here against Hampshire was on a slowish wicket, which possibly didn't suit them. A few quicker wickets, and they look really good.
Rinse and repeat. This is good by Curran. Pulling his length back from that errant first delivery.
And on paper, they are a T20 finals team, aren't they? You'd like to ink them in. You think with the sort of talent that they have, as well as the players that actually aren't here. You know, with Ollie Pope not here, and you've got a few others away. They're looking very strong, and they've got an amazing squad.
Yeah, we were chatting in the break. Curious fact that Surrey have won it just the once in its inaugural year, of course. Remember that, 2003. Ian Ward in his helmet with the
Camera.
player cam on the front of it, keeping his cool in the final, getting it done, and you blamed yourself for it not being back-to-back wins. 2004.
Well, yeah, that
Smashed a quick 60 and you're still blaming yourself.
was my fault.
Too harsh on yourself, Alistair. Punched very tidily. Easy on the eyes, John Simpson.
I mean, that was our first defeat, but I would say that Wardy in the final, he outscored me, not just in terms of strike rate. I think if you go back, he was a perfect foil left right hand, and we're golf partners nowadays, but then we were quite intuitive with our calling, I think, and we lost our first game in year 2 in the final.
It was a remarkable finals day, that 2004. One of the great low scorers low-scoring games. First up, Surrey against Lancashire. Four gone now, rather, 26 for 3. And Adam Hollyoake pulled the odd rabbit out of a hat, didn't he, to ensure that you defended an undefendable total. Got that done and then met Leicester in the final.
Yeah, I mean, we were probably a quarter of the way through. I think we were strong favourites, but we didn't get the back half of our innings done the way we'd like. And I said I made a mistake to get out and be a bit too aggressive, and got what we thought would be a good score. Probably got a par score, and unfortunately came up short. As I said, this side looked like a team that are destined for the finals day with the side they can have. But you know, it's a strong group. There's some good teams in it. They're playing very well at the moment.
Change of bowler then, powered by SSE Energy Solutions. Will Jackson to the attack, batted beautifully earlier. Wicked up to long off. I was still in the recovery position, having taken part in the mascot race in 2004 as a young cub reporter. The ECB phoned me up, offered me a few quid for an afternoon. Ali, I was Maximus the Lion. I didn't trouble the scorers, although I did trouble one or two of my own mascots.
But you weren't.
We had a bit of a set two in the dressing room afterwards. I think I misjudged how much you meant to ham it up with my fellow competitors. Didn't realise how seriously they took it. Never again. It's one of the worst experiences of my life. Trust me. 30-degree heat. 450 yards that race was around the perimeter. Bumble running along with us. Swing and a miss.
Did you know who the favourites were and who you could rugby tackle on the way around?
It was a steward's inquiry because Rory the Lion, once of this parish, won it. He was wearing the wrong shoes. So he did win it, but he was later disqualified for wearing trainers. At Wilberforce, giving it everything as Tom Clark, and it's enough of it to run away. It's finer than he was hoping for, but it won't matter at all. Much needed boundaries. Advances and nails it. That goes all the way. Just a chip, really, but right out of the screws. First maximum of Sussex's reply, much needed. 39 for 3. Bit more impetus now. 5 gone.
Yeah, they've certainly looked to target Will Jackson. They will need to. They do need a couple of 15 overs, really, to get this back where they want it. 3 wickets down is a very hard ask, but they have to roll the dice. They've got 4 overs from Chris Jordan coming at some point, and that's definitely not going to be easy.
Another change of bowler, powered by SSE Energy Solutions. So he's Topley, going to bowl his 3rd over inside the power play. Change of ends for him. But enough of it is John Simpson, and that will creep over the boundary at Cow. That is the left-hander's area, as Ali Brown says, towards the gas holder. It's the Sam Curran parabola. That's the way where he goes.
They have to target any sort of length there. They'll be looking for length and trying to swipe through that side. It doesn't need. It probably needs 3/4 of a shot to get there. And that's what you target. If you get a 50-55 yard boundary, that's what you need to look for.
13 from 6, John Simpson. Have to still believe here to the Sharks. Seen it done. Fast scoring ground. And a miss. Good carry. Danny Lamb due in next. And Jack Carson is really blossoming as a batsman. I do feel like they are perhaps 1 or 2 hitters shy, so there's a lot on these two. They need to get Sussex well into the second half of this innings and still be together. Glorious. 1 bounce 4. Stays in the shot from Clark now into his work.
Yeah, looking good. I mean, the wicket is a good one, and they'll know this is the end of the power play. Mitch Santner likely to come on from the pavilion end, I would say, especially with 2 left-handers at the crease. And as I said, Chris Jordan, who we saw bowl brilliantly here last time. It's going to be a hard task for Sussex from here, but they're showing some good momentum, and they'll need that certainly for the next 5 or 6 overs if they're going to get close to this.
Into the space, Mitchell Santner. Tidy mover as well. So 50 up. Inside the first 6, just 1 delivery left of the power play. The Sharks have no choice but to keep on going here. Have to be prepared to be blown away in order to get somewhere close. Or more there to hit. So a useful final over. 15 from it. Sharks 54 for 3 then. Still looking like a long haul. 210, 157 still needed. But these two are offering something here, offering some promise. To beat Chris Jordan. Sam Curran ringing the changes. Good position to be in, captaining this side. Everywhere you turn, there is international pedigree. 4 for 10. He delivered in the last home game here. Against Kent, he was absolutely sensational, and then, of course, finished it off by hitting the winning runs from the final delivery. He's bang on the money. You feel like he could close his eyes, run up, and land it right on the spot.
A really good performance from Jordan last night against Hampshire. 2 for 19 from his 4 overs. Surrey obviously on top at the moment. Sussex 54 for 3. 54 for 3, but you look at the bowlers they have remaining. This is the first over of Jordan, who's bowling so well at the moment. We've not seen the overseas Nathan Smith. We've not seen his compatriot Mitchell Santner yet. We've not seen Sam Curran bowl either. So plenty of bowling available for Surrey tonight. And for viewers who weren't with us for the Kent game or didn't watch the Hampshire game, Jordan's had a lot of success bowling pace on, hitting north of 85 mph and really bowling to his field. For the moment, bowling to 2 left-handers, lots of protection on the leg side. Tucking Simpson for room that previous delivery. Smith did really well actually in the deep to keep them to 1. Nearly squares Clark up on this occasion. 85 mph on the speed gun.
Yeah, I said it the other week. He's bowling as well as I've ever seen him bowl. There's absolutely no fall away in terms of pace or energy. He's always had great control.
It was just amazing last week how many dot balls he was able to bowl. And someone like Joe Denny, who's in good form. Clark gives himself a bit of room and gets it over mid-on and picks up 4. That's good batting from Clark. Almost telegraphed where the ball was. The flip side of being accurate is you can become a little bit predictable. And Clark proactive against Jordan. For the first time in the last couple of weeks, really, we've seen a batter give themselves a bit of room to Chris Jordan. And even though he didn't quite get hold of that, Clark picks up another boundary. He moves on to 31.
Yeah, echoes of the way Harry Brook plays the short ball. giving himself room and preparing to go straightish where the fieldsmen aren't.
Well fielded, a backward point by Dom Sibley. That was hit hard. Clark will feel like he missed out there. First sign of width from Jordan.
It's a good field though, Yaz, because if Jordan does get that line slightly awry, then you have Dibley there at backward point, deep third, and a very square boundary rider on the offside. Hard to find the angles as a batter here. Does he dare give himself room again to try and go over mid-on?
Sprint through for a quick single. Would have been tight if it hit, but in the end, Clark gets through to the other end. 6 runs from Chris Jordan's first over. Sussex 60 for 3 after 7 runs and over. And these two have done quite well in keeping at required rate just within reach. It was in danger of spiralling out of control when Surrey picked up those 3 early wickets, but it remains under 2 runs a ball. And as we've seen today, you can really go through the gears once you get your eye in. Another change in the Surrey attack, a change of bowler powered by SSE Energy Solutions. We're up for the test. Let's reach net zero together. Nathan Smith in from the Vauxhall end for the first time this evening. That falls safely, but really well fielded by Tom Curran. Racing back towards the fine leg boundary.
Yeah, it's brilliant that by Curran, because it looked for all money like that was going to limp over the boundary. It's one of John Simpson's shots. So just a couple. It's already been electric in the field.
Smith to Clark. And that'll be a wide. Saw quite a few wides from the Vauxhall end to left-handers in the Surrey innings, with the bowler trying to hide the ball outside the left-handers off stump. Smith didn't quite get his line right on that occasion. It's gone high, up into the air. Third man's running round. Can't cut it off. 4 more to Clark.
Got to keep swinging. No other choice here. Got to keep chancing your arm, hoping the luck falls your way. Surrey, in fairness, had a couple as well, a couple of skews in their own innings that just fell short between fielders, and Clark in good rhythm here, 38 from 20.
Drill down the ground for 6. Far more convincing from Tom Clark. His second 6 of the evening. 44 off just 21 deliveries. A required run rate closer to 12 at the start of the over. Nearly bang on 11 now. Some partnership this. 59 runs they put on together in quick time. They were 14 for 3 when they came together.
Yeah, I love that shot because Smith has bowled a canny-ish slower ball. And I think right at the last, Clark sensed it and managed to keep his shape, managed to keep forward momentum, stayed in the shot, clumped it flat and hard straight into the boundary hoardings.
Change in field. Deep backward point comes into the ring. Mid-off goes back to the boundary. Just a single on this occasion.
Yeah, he's cranky there, Yaz. You can sense it. Swishing hard afterwards, throwing his head back. He knew that was in the slot. His beans are going a bit as well. Still. He's climbed up to 45 from 22 and given the Sharks a sniff.
Good response from Nathan Smith. 85.1 mph. going across John Simpson. Do you want to hear something from another ground, Phil?
Yes, please.
Kent are playing Gloucester. Let me just double check that. Gloucestershire. They're back on now. We were briefly off because the sun was in the way.
Ah,
Sun stopped play.
Classic. Reflecting on a window, no doubt. Used to happen a lot at Derby, that. You have the cars parked behind the sight screen. The sun would reflect off the windscreen, and that would be that. Sun stops play. 75 for 3, then 8 gone.
And yeah, time for Mitchell Santner. He's been so good with the ball, Surrey, this season. So clever in his change of speed, his change in where he releases the ball, the angle, sometimes tight in by the umpire, sometimes wide of the crease. Very smart bowler, always very carefully bowling to his fields. Santner into John Simpson.
He's one of my favourite bowlers to watch in world cricket. Real artist.
It'll be interesting to compare this period of the Sussex innings to the corresponding period of the Surrey innings, because Surrey, with the exception of a couple of overs that James Cole snuck through the back half of the innings, didn't have many quiet overs. Almost every over was between 8 and 12, even when they weren't scoring boundaries. The rotation of strike was excellent, especially between Curran and Dom Sibley. Peel for LBW. Not given.
That looked close to me, Yaz. Pollard not interested.
You can see why I asked the question.
I said it was close, and I'm not deviating from that. This is what he does, though, Yaz. He just comes into the attack, slows the game to his pace. Taken 8 wickets in the last 3 games. The Surrey's settled in perfectly into this attack.
Clark uses his feet this time. And caught in the deep. Excellent catch by Will Jacks. Pressure creates a wicket-taking opportunity. 1 ... wicket. Mitchell Santner does what he's been doing all season for Surrey. Keeps it tight, then strikes. Clark, who batted so nicely for his 45, is gone. Surrey have their 4th, Sussex 76 for 4.
Yeah, crucial, really. You fancied that Clark would have to go big with a longish middle order, backing 1 or 2 real finishers. It felt like much was on Clark's shoulders, and as you say, Yaz, the pressure told. Just an inquiry whether that one carried, but I think that was fine. Will Jacks doing the business. Oh, Danny Lamb it is. Big ask for him in at 6. I'll have to scamper hard, these two as well. Neither of them are particularly big hitters. And Mitchell Santner, well, he's a real craftsman.
Santner into the new man Lamb. Bit of air on this occasion. Just a single. Lamb gets off the mark, but in the context of this game, first 5 deliveries of Santner's spell, yes, he's taken the wicket, but he's also gone for just 2 runs at required rate. Now exactly 12 runs and over. 2 runs a ball. More air again from Santner. Just keep an eye on how he varies his speed. That one down at 47 miles per hour. Sometimes he's up towards 60. 3 runs from his first over. Sussex 78 for 4. We've mentioned it a few times already this evening, but worth mentioning again that Sussex are short of a few really key players tonight. Ollie Robinson rested with the ball, but also Harrison Ward and Tom Alsop, alongside James Coles, two of their key batters this season, both out injured. Not quite as much batting depth as the Sharks usually have. Jack's on for the second time this evening, bowling from the Vauxhall end to John Simpson.
So hard to come into a side in T20 cricket and hit from the get-go. Thomas up top, Danny Lamb in the middle order, both playing their first games here. Tom Clark just playing his second as well, got going in the end. But it does show such a hard game to pick up immediately. You need to bring some rhythm into the game. Instead, you're forced to hit basically from ball one without any kind of flow behind you. Very, very tricky.
And batters nowadays, they're more comfortable with or testing required run rates. But when you need 12s, a quiet over really does change things quite dramatically. This over started with a required run rate, 12 runs and over. It's already 12.48. 2 runs off the first 3 balls. And that pressure has induced another big shot, gone high into the skies and dropped. Sykes has had such a good evening so far. Star with the bat for Surrey. Took a brilliant catch early on. Had a lot of ground to cover. Got there in the end, but he shelled it.
A top edge sweep. Played more on line than length. Fancied Sykes. If nothing else, for the neutral, keeps this game alive. She felt when that ball went up, so did Sussex's chances.
Missed opportunity for Surrey, but it's another very, very good over so far with 1 ball remaining. And it's a very good over at the end of it. 4 runs from it. Sussex 82 for 4. And we talked about those quiet overs, Phil. 8 runs from the last 2 overs. The types of over that just didn't really happen in the Surrey innings. And when you're chasing 211, you can't afford too many of these, especially after that slow start to the run chase. That required run rate, pretty much 13 runs and over now. When you look at who's got overs remaining, Santa's going to bowl 3 of them. Expect Chris Jordan to bowl 2. That is some ask for the visitors. Santa to continue from the pavilion end.
Glorious buzz around the place again. Not for nothing is this known as the best boozer in South London. Absolutely right, yes. There's just no margin for error. You have to go and play desperate cricket every single ball. Santa is as hard a bowler as there is in world cricket, though, to get away.
3 overs without a boundary, Phil. When you're chasing 211, you can't really afford periods like that. Air. Simpson's gone aerial again. Jackson's underneath it again. And takes a straightforward catch at deep mid-wicket. Simpson falls for 21. Santner has figures of 2 for 6 after 1.4 overs. Sussex 85 for 5. And in truth, Phil, in need of a bit of a miracle from here.
Yeah, this one's all but done already. Will Jacks doesn't drop them, does he? Brilliant outfielder. quick across the ground, safe hands. There was never any doubt once he positioned himself. It's a solid base, and in it goes. So, 5 down. It's a forlorn attempt, this, really, by the Sharks to pull in a monster target. The scoreboard pressure at play as well. Beauty of Santner, though, is it's never quite there. He doesn't look like a mystery spinner, but he has that element, doesn't he? He has that Sunny Narayan-like element. It's never quite there. A beautiful control of speed and guile. There you go, what a shot that is.
You talking about the figures or the sun?
Bit of both.
Jack Carson in at 7. Santner with those magnificent figures of 1.4 overs, 2 for 6. It's another dot ball. You really are watching a master at work. So frugal in limited overs cricket. So hard to get away. And it's another dot ball. 3 runs from the over, 1 wicket as well. Mitchell Santner, this side defending 211. His figures of 2 for 6 off 2 overs. Surrey on top.
Yeah, to say the least. Word for Sussex. Jack Carson in at 7. Just his 18th T20. And he's yet to actually break 100 runs across his whole career. So when we talk about a depleted lineup, missing a couple of big hitters, really is marked. Danny Lamb coming in for his first game at 6. Jack Carson, a good couple of places too high, really. Very good emerging player. It's a huge ask, really.
Yeah, it's a sign of Sussex's state at the moment. He's not playing tonight, but Finn Hudson, apprentice all-rounder, was on loan back at his former county Derbyshire, recalled given the injury crisis at Hove. Nearly 4 overs since Sussex last found the rope. Acquired rate past 14 runs and over, and I wonder actually at this point how much net run rate management is on the minds of the Sussex think tank at the moment. Sussex actually have a brilliant net run rate so far, and who knows how important that figure is come the end of the group stage, both in determining a top 4 finish.
Yeah,
Potentially,
it's a really good point you make, actually, and do have some leeway there. The run rate coming into this game was plus 1.8, which is comfortably the best in the league. But you're right, you want to protect that, don't you? This game has almost certainly slipped away from them.
and this one should run away to the ropes. Even buys. Crucially for Sussex, it's the first time they've found the rope with more than 4 overs. But yeah, it's not just crucial in whether or not Sussex do or don't qualify for the quarterfinals. It might be crucial in determining whether or not, even if they do qualify, whether or not they get a home quarterfinal or not. And in this particular contest, actually, if you were looking at the table and working out who might finish in the top 2, very good chance it's one of these 2 teams. So it's not just their own net run rate they'll be thinking about. They'll be thinking about Surrey's. May well be a direct competitor for that second spot.
There's already that sense that the bottom 3, barring something remarkable, are adrift. Middlesex, 6 Gloucester. 12 gone now, 95 for 5. Middlesex, Essex, Gloucester, you feel like they are, certainly Essex and Gloucester, with 2 points between them for a rain out for Essex. Gloucester having played 5 and lost 5, those 2 are gone. Middlesex are hanging in there for dear life. They need a big run, really, to bother the top half. But after that, from Kent upwards, it's anyone's. There's only 6 points going into this game, separating the top 6.
think Somerset look really, really good up top. Not just in where they are on the table, 5 wins and 1 defeat so far, but also if you look at that lineup, you look at who's not in their team as well. It'll take some catching. Yeah, as you say, really all to play for from positions 2 to 6.
Another achingly slow moon ball, donkey drop, yet mysteriously unhittable. Mitch Santner, 46 mph that. The master. And then the flatter one. It's be so much fun, yes.
It is really enthralling to watch. That's pretty much 12 mph quicker than the previous ball. Similar line. Asking a different question every delivery, Mitchell Santner.
And again, you watch him here and there's not that much lateral turn, there's not that much going off the straight, not that he needs it really, but give him a pitch, give him an Indian test pitch back in October, say, and he'll run through a team for you. He's becoming one of the best, most complete cricketers around.
Oh, just evades extra cover.
You got something on it.
The catchable height for the skipper, Sam Curran. Got 2 in the end. Mitchell Santner very close to picking up his 3rd of the evening. They just through the hands of the Surrey skipper. Those 2 runs, by the way, bringing up Sussex 100. Another quiet over, that required run rate. 15.35 runs and over. 7.1 remaining. We'll have to bowl that one again. A little bit too wide on this occasion from Santner. Well, that's gone miles. In the slot and nailed. Shelled in the stands again. Well, he's claiming it.
Oh.
He's claiming it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll have a look at the replay. What we do know, it's 6 more. And we've got a change in the commentary box. Taking you through to the close, Phil Walker and Ali Brown.
Oh, we don't know. Oh, he's claiming it. As well you might, he's claiming it. There was a bit of a juggle in there. So much of it is just convincing everyone around you that you've done it. Bit of foreshortening on the camera work as well. I think his face betrays it. I think that might have been grasped. But look, if there's any doubt at all, then throw him the grand. He deserves it. Right, 108 for 5. Last 7 here. Chris Jordan bowled this 2nd over. So even just 6 from his first. Airborne. Will Jacks again, just shy, and it will trickle over the boundary. So, Danny Lamb picks up another boundary. Just a quick reminder, 1 or 2 tickets still available for Friday night's game against Middlesex. That'll be covered as well on Sky Sports, so do tune in for that if you can't make it into the ground. Should be a real humdinger. Always a bit of a capital needle behind that one. And it's gone a long way. Helped around the corner. Smashes into the roof of that lower tier. So, 10 from the first 2, Chrissy Jordan's 2nd over. 118 for 5. Ali Brown is going to see us through to the close. there any life left in this cricket match?
Not really, but I mean, the top edge is very difficult to defend and often goes for a lot more than it should do. But I think it's a bit of a damage limitation. They've got to try and get as close as they can. They've got to try and take the win if they can. But it's a big ask. And
would have been gone for all money. Mitch Santner had time to aim just the one stump.
I mean, the ironic thing is when it comes down to it, when you can't see Sussex winning this game, but if run rate becomes a thing in 7 or 8 games' time, that's probably something they might want to think about. They've had a really good start. As I said, they've played some of the sides that you maybe expect them to beat, and they've got a few tough ones coming up. But run rate could be crucial for finishing in that top 4.
Jordan follows his man, sees out the corner of his eye. Fast bowlers these days are so good at that, delaying to the final moment. Element of anticipation as well, of course. Those last second adjustments, such great skill.
The thing is that at Chris's pace as well, any sort of top edge is going to fly into the stands, and if he avoids the field, enough on it to go for a maximum.
Nicked right through where first slip would be. 4 more. 14 then from 5. Needed a few more of these in those quiet middle overs.
Been quite productive tonight, isn't it? The wide nick.
Danny Lamb then retains the strike, 123 for 5. Half a dozen left. So here we go, the Xbox Power Players scoreboard for this. So in the men's, Jason Roy 56, Laurie Evans 46 not out, Jason Roy 37. In the women's tournament, Danny Wyatt-Hodge 74 not out against Durham, Grace Harris 63, Danny Wyatt-Hodge 62. Came in after 2 men's home fixtures and 3 women's home fixtures. Tom Curran then pushing in from the pavilion end. Going up for that, fancies it. Umpire says no.
Laurie Evans goes with the one-handed appeal again. It hasn't been very successful tonight.
His stock move is to go up and then put his hands on his head, as if to say, I don't understand how that could possibly be given anything other than out. Well, there are reasons for it.
I think the one...
See where he is, he's almost at leg slip.
His left foot has kind of given that away. But he knows Tom's gone up, so he's got to go with him to show a bit of willing.
Very close earlier, wasn't there?
Well, yeah.
The reverse sweep from
You'd
Tom
have reviewed
Clark.
that, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Towed it up to long on. You heard that awful clunk. New bat, please. Yeah, checking the toe.
Yeah, some of these new bats actually, they do struggle in the toe. There's often a lot, especially some of my bats towards the end of my career, at the bottom when sides try to blow the Yorker away, sort of more wood in the middle.
Mark Butcher gave me a bat once. A V100 Slazenger. He'd used, it was in his kit bag when he went to the West Indies and batted 3 for England and got a few. And he gave me that bat. And he said, there you go, Phil, you can have that. I was just a little cub reporter. And it smashed. First game I used. First game, smashed in half. Thanks, Mark. He knew what he was about. Manages to get something on it. Might have wanted to leave that one go by, Danny Lamb, but he'll pick up a single.
So you felt there was a death crack in it already? It was ready to go, like an old conker?
He knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did actually.
I was opening, in fact, you're right. So it would have been a new ball. It didn't smash in half, but it went right up the back, off the toe, and essentially it just wedged itself open. That was the end of that one. I imagine it might have gone in the right hands.
We had a good friend of mine, Marcus Murray, used to play at Cheam. He was our overseas player, and I gave him a bat. It was a bit dry.
Right.
I hadn't used it for a bit, and he used it. He used the bat number 11 at Cheam, and it smashed in two, so it actually broke in the middle, which he was very happy to take a picture of and say, "Why has he given me this?" But, he hasn't let me forget it.
Another one off the toe. More of it this time, but just a single. So, Surrey racing through these now. We're in the last rights of this one. Final quarter. And the Sharks need 84.
They've changed a lot, the bats, over the years. If you saw my bats from the late 90s, there was very much the curve wasn't necessarily there. A flatter back, I would say.
So Mitch Santner from the Vauxhall end this time round. He will bowl out. That one, you imagine, is adjacent. That Carson has to go. You miss, I hit. That's the Mitch Santner doctrine. And he picks up another 3 for 19. Make that 11 wickets in 4 games and counting. And he goes at a tick over a run a ball. What a signing.
It's very impressive, isn't he, Mitch Santner? A real game changer. He'd be thrilled that Laurie Evans has appealed for this one. But you might say that's not as close as the other one you liked.
I think that's more leg stump than middle,
I think
halfway up, as the other one was.
Umpire's call. I think the other one was closer than umpire's call.
Yeah, the other one was plumb and then a bit more. Anyway, it matters not. 6 down, 1-2-7, last rights here. And Nathan McAndrew, one of the 2 Aussies in this side. Will you imagine, get the long handle out, have a bit of fun? That run rate is astronomical. We can forget about that. About damage limitation now. Beautifully bowled yet again. It is an absolute clinic. You mentioned during the Kent game that you can see Mitchell Santner wearing Surrey colours but in whites later on this year. You never know. There is an area that Red Bull side could do with a bit of stardust, then perhaps it is in the slow bowling department.
I think it's a game changer for Surrey. I think they've come up against some very flat wickets. It depends where they go, whether they get a kookaburra or not.
Yeah.
And I think they've found some of the away games. You're playing Surrey, you're happy to come away with a draw. You want those sort of points. You know, they're obviously very strong.
There we go, Danny Lamb getting the reverse out.
I feel
good contact.
I feel if you've got a quality overseas spinner, it's not that Surrey haven't got good spinners, but if they're really flat wickets, you want that spinner to be picking up potentially 4 or 5 wickets in an innings, and also saying to the opposition, we've got a very good spinner, so don't prepare it too flat.
Nice to go again. This time, it's out on Curran.
And it's all very well saying that, you know, if you're actually looking to get a good spinner, but how many quality spinners are available for the length of time that you need them? And I think Mitch Santner certainly ticks that box.
So, final delivery of his spell. This Topley gathers in, so it'll just be a single. 3 for 26. Masterclass.
And the question for those flat wickets as well is actually being able to get players around the bat. That's the pressure you need in those situations. And if Surrey win a couple of their home games, well, they're going to have to win their home games. If they can win some away games, I mean, it falls that it looks like it's a straight shootout between Notts and Surrey from what it looks like at the moment. They don't play Notts away. That's one of the games that they don't have. Just that's the way it falls this year, which is probably a good thing, I would say, because I imagine they'd be preparing, if that was the case, quite a dry wicket is certainly what they'd want. But yeah, I think Mitch Santner would offer quality in any form of the game that he plays in.
All of that good stuff is to come. That'll do. Ethan McAndrew picks up his first boundary. Streaky, it's been a profitable area today. The left hand of the man on the 45 on the offside. Surrey won't mind this though. This game is in the bag. So we return to 4-day cricket soon enough. Sunday the 29th, Surrey play host to Durham. They're the only other side really that could potentially offer something at the back end of the championship. Warwickshire as well, possibly in the mix. It looks, as you say, Ali, like Notts and Surrey go at one another, the Ali Brown derby. Perhaps Durham, if they were to pull off a win here next week, then he could drag themselves into the mix. Nice to see some red ball cricket. A bit of a breather. Seen this a few times, and this one does actually reach the fingers of Jason Roy, and so rather unedifying way Nathan McAndrew to go. 7 down. On current. Picks up his second of the night. Surrey sharing it around here.
They look good all night, haven't they? Really, right from the get-go. I think they had a good power play. Got off to a good brisk start. I thought they held well in the middle when they batted and were very powerful at the end. And so that was an above par score, which has certainly put the pressure on Sussex to be really positive at the start. I thought they bowled well. The game's really been in the bag for quite some time. And I think the only question left for the last 4 overs is trying to get to as many as they can. You know, not get out with 2 overs left when they can potentially score another 10 or 15 runs. Because if it does come down to run rate in a few weeks' time, you know, they'll want to get as many as they can.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good point from Surrey's perspective. They want to do this as quickly as possible. One of these performances, one of these team performances where the Brains Trust are going to be thrilled with it. Because they started well. Will Jacks, who missed the opening few games of the tournament, obviously involved with England. Dom Sibley looks, well, he's in the form of his life, frankly, in white ball cricket in particular. And then to have the kid come in at the death and really establish himself as a part of this team now. He's been lurking there down at 7, 8, 9. Topley under it. Thought better of it. The dive could have put a shoulder out. It's probably not necessary at this point.
3 points or 4 points for refusal and show jumping? Actually, that's fair. That's a bit unfair. It's he's tried to get in a good position, couldn't quite get the leap, and then just out of his reach. Great piece of fielding by Jason Roy.
He's been sharp tonight.
One-handed dive.
Yeah, he's been sharp. He's been on it. Missed out with the bat, but he looks massively committed to this setup.
I think it's really brought out the, Jason Roy back with the white ball. He absolutely loves this. I felt in the championship games that he played, you just wanted him to take the handbrake off. It's almost as if he's playing that game thinking, I want to be super aggressive, but can I be? And as soon as he gets into white ball cricket, he's proved his class. And to see a dive like that at the end of a game, when the game is effectively gone,
yeah,
or won, sorry, is is exactly what you want to see from the players.
That's going to be Chrissy Jordan placing Mitch Satner from the Vauxhall end. Powered by SSE Energy Solutions, of course, as ever. Climate change will not wait. He's in. And it's the Chris Jordan classic, Sand Shoe Crusher. Beautiful evening here in South London. Barely a breath of wind. There's a kind of haze dropping across the ground as well. The pubs will do some good business tonight. It's one of these games, as I say, where Harith Batty, Alex Stewart, Sammy Curran, we're absolutely delighted with how it's played out. It's a proper team performance.
They just look a confident side at the moment, don't they? Speaking of Tom Curran before the T20 started, he talked about last year and making sure that players all had the same roles rather than chopping and changing. They've certainly kept with that, especially with Dom up top. And you know, everyone knows their role, don't they? They're all coming in. It all looks really good. They look a happy team. As I said,
I think the Kent result was big for them as well. So that could have gone either way, and if they'd come out the wrong side of that really tight one, it might have knocked them back a bit. But as it was, they've got real momentum on the back of that game, and they look like like the juggernaut really that you see in red ball cricket. And it's about time. It's about time, as you said earlier, that they get through to another finals day and get it done. They have the team for it. It's a really well-balanced cricket side, this.
Tom talked about this being a competition they probably wanted to win more than any other, and I think that comes about with Sam being the new captain, and they're very close throughout his sort of watching them over the years. Tom would often be at Sand Shoe Crusher. Tom would often be at mid-off when Sam was bowling, so as Sam was gaining more experience, and we're going back 5, 6 years here, if ever he got hit, you'd have Tom at mid-off with the experience to be able to help him with that. And you know, as I said, they're a very close family. They're a very talented family, and I think the way Sam has, you watch how he sets his field and the experience he's had in the IPL. I think he's certainly learnt a lot from that.
It helps when he has Chris Jordan to call upon as well. You have to go some to find a more informed white ball bowler in English cricket at the moment. 36 years young, great shape, he's fit, he's fast. He's got oodles of experience, of course. He can bowl Yorkers at will.
It does make a big difference, though, when you don't have the captaincy. I was captain in 2005. You're constantly looking at the whole field, who's out of position. You're thinking all the time. It's mentally draining, and you feel that the freedom of him just being able to run up and bowl and score the winning runs in some games has really, you know, he's really warming to that.
So Tamar Mills turns down a single from the final delivery to allow Danny Lamb to go about his merry way. 42 from 28, and again a sign of damage limitation really for Sussex here. They want to bat their overs and they want to scavenge as many as they can get. Yeah, I wonder if England might yet tap Chris Jordan on the shoulder and say, have you got one more dance in you? Why not? He's bowling brilliantly this year. England struggled in white ball cricket across the winter, especially at the death in T20. Stranger things have happened. So, it'll be Reece Topley then, bowl out on the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion end. A couple to go. Oh my word. Well, that's rather grim, I'm afraid. Mal Mills turned, try and get back to the non-strikers to get Danny Lamb back on strike, and Lamb was, let's say, not on the same wavelength.
A very soft dismissal, but you've got to say, if you look at the Surrey side, the players you've got coming back in, and we talked about James Smith, Jamie Overton, Ollie Pope, just three you could pick at will. You know, it's an embarrassment of riches and a strength that you can leave players out. You know, Surrey put a second team in here with the form that they're in. They wouldn't be in the bottom three, I don't think.
Marl Mills marches off. It's not been his night. The frustration writ large across his face all evening, really. It's been one of those nights, I'm afraid. Still, 1-4 from 7. It's a couple of points for a no result, and so all is far from lost for Sussex. They need a couple of players back, you fancy.
But that's the thing, they are missing a few players, and if Surrey miss 3, they've got 3 to step up, and
yeah, it's the depth.
Wouldn't look out of place at all.
This is it. It's the depth for a club like Sussex. See it with other clubs of similar size. Their first 11, their first 12 or 13 is strong, but then after that, lose a couple and you're exposed. We've seen that tonight, in truth. So, Danny Lamb's played tidily here for 43. 10 deliveries left in the game.
And this was a period where you've had your 2 Kent games and Sussex all up at the top of the table. There was I think there's another game, isn't there? And there's a break coming up for the second load of 8, and a few sides. I mean, Surrey only play the 2 bottom sides who haven't won a game yet. Gloucester and Essex.
There we go. Reece Topley doesn't miss.
They only play them once, so you'd quite fancy those sides that are probably out of the competition to. They might even try a few youngsters to get them in the competition, and Surrey miss out on that. But the way they're playing at the moment, they look like the form team in the South Division, and they're likely to leapfrog Kent here. Sorry, not Kent. I mean Sussex in terms of that position. They're second and third, aren't they, in the table?
Yep.
And the run rate will be a good one. The plus for Surrey of winning by probably 60 runs and 55, 60 runs, and the minus for Sussex.
So Reece Topley got things going with a beauty late swinger into the off stump of Thomas. And he's seeing things off in similar fashion here. Sussex all over now, 9 down, 1-5-4. It's been a chastening evening, in truth, really. So 1 delivery left of the penultimate over. And Danny Lamb and his way to a useful 50 for himself.
He's played nicely in a losing cause, hasn't he? He's played well. You knew halfway, or probably 3/4 of the way through the game, that this was a done deal. But he's certainly got them a bit of, certainly closer to the target without actually coming anywhere near it.
We're looking for a single here. No, he won't. Instead, it's a dot ball. So 6 to go. This is a blowout. Impressive by the home side. You mentioned players to come back in. Ollie Pope will feature again in this white ball side. He's got more important business at the moment. Retained at number 3. The upcoming Test series, certainly the start of it. Happy with that?
Yeah, no. There aren't too many people who've been dropped for scoring 170 or whatever. I know it's Zimbabwe, but I feel that Jacob Bethel is a very good talent. If you make that decision, you're probably saying, I'm leaving Ollie out for 3 to 6 months, and I don't think that's very fair. I think he's probably more of a Test match number 5, but obviously you've got Joe Root, who's just a phenomenal player, and Harry Brook at 5, and so you're looking very strong in there. But he's been in good form. He's played well in the T20, and there's been a lot of talk about.
Chrissy Jordan misses from a yard.
He'd be disappointed.
Shanks it past the outside post.
There's been a lot of talk. I think it's what Luke hasn't said. There's in terms of the side. No one's come out and said yes. Ollie's going to play definitely. It's like held him in the balance for a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. Do you reckon that they'd have had a word with Ollie though privately beforehand and assured him? Because there was a lot of noise.
I know, but there wasn't openly. There wasn't. I hope they did. And I think he's, if he gets in, he gets big scores, and he's proven that time and time again. If he gets 100, he's more likely to get 170, isn't he? So it's more because he's facing Test match bowling, batting at number 3, where it does more, and you're up against some of the best bowlers in the world.
Made 300s from number 3 last year in international cricket, and made another one, of course, a few weeks back in that game against Zimbabwe. Lamb's going to run hard here. Try and get back for 2. No. Oh.
Yes,
on 45.
I think they made the right decision. And I think they're probably saying, well, we'll see how you go against India. And, you know that Bethel's in the wings, and he looks a hell of a talent. He hasn't scored a first-class 100 yet, but there's going to be plenty in there. And, but right now, I think it is definitely the right decision.
I agree. Down the ground, so it does bring Lamb back on strike. 5 away from what will be a useful 50. Again, a sign of just how depleted Sussex have been this evening with the bat in particular. It will be a maiden T20 50 for him.
So you're Danny Lamb, where are you going to get your 4 followed by your single?
Well, he's going to be facing a Sandshoe crusher, you fancy. Yeah, there you go. Beautifully done. Unbounced 4. Beautifully played. He knew what was coming, and he had a good answer for it. Good on him.
Are you getting bat on ball? Anything on the leg side?
You're dropping one into the onside, ambling up to the other end.
You're going to try and lash it through the offside.
I think we both revealed our separate approaches to cricket there, Alistair. Oh, and he's cleaned him up. What a shame for Danny Lamb. Done on 49, but it matters very little in the context of what has been an emphatic performance here by the home side. Sussex all done for 162. Surrey get it done by 48 runs. And it's a result that has never really been in doubt after the first 3 overs of Sussex's response. One of these really complete performances. Surrey will be thrilled with that. They were powerful and insistent in the first 6. Phil Jack sparkled. Tom Sibley was class. Ollie Sykes made a name for himself, and then with the ball, 3 for Mitch Santner, what a genius he is. 3 for Reece Topley, who got it going with a beauty. And a couple for Tom Curran. Missy Jordan picks up 1 at the end. A very, very good night's work by a team that looks to be bubbling, coming to the boil at just the right time. Yeah,
they just over the last couple of weeks, they've looked really good. I think they've had a game at home on quick wickets which suit them. But they've got a side that tick all the boxes with the bat. They're aggressive. Even when you have a game where Jason Roy doesn't score, and yet they're still posting north of 200 is very impressive. They've got a lot of strength in depth, and I think to see Ollie Sykes put in a performance like that, he hasn't really had that opportunity, but when he has, he showed that he's got strength, and I like the way he just really set the momentum at the end that took them from probably a 195 to a 210, and that was very impressive.
Who's your man of the match?
He would be my man of the match. I think he took a good catch the other time. Last week, I know a couple of misfields, but he took a really good catch down there in the deep, which I thought was very impressive. But I think it's that momentum, and to see a young player do that, it's good to see Dom Sibley again enhance that opener's role. I think he's over the last couple of days he showed what he gives to that top order, and he glues them all together in a very positive way. But for me, I thought Ollie Sykes, great to get that opportunity, and I think he did it very well.
Just let's dwell on Ollie Sykes for a moment. Forget, if we can, the statement it was temperamentally to come in, big crowd, big moment. But technically, what impressed you?
He was very still. He knew exactly what he was looking to do. And he took on big boundaries as well. He knew he could hit them, and I really liked that. He went the longer side, so he hit deep mid on, he hit deep mid wicket. I know he only cleared them by a little bit, but you know, that's the longer side of the ground. But it was his belief to be able to do that. He knew he had that in the locker, and as I said, he struck a really clean ball, which he had shown in small parts that he'd had the opportunity in previous games, but to actually do it on this stage, it's really impressive. And you know, they've got a really good player on their hands going forward.
Quick run through the card then. George Thomas went early, a beauty from Reece Topley, cleaning him up right through the gate. Daniel Hughes a little bit unlucky perhaps, playing on to Tom Curran, and already Sussex were on the back foot. Coles came and went, key man in form, only made 4. Topley picked up 2 inside the first 6. Tidy partnership between the two left-handers, Tom Clark and John Simpson. But when Clark went, that was pretty much that. Surrey shared it around. It's been a masterclass with the ball. Mitchell Santner, for mine, the star of the show. Another absolute masterclass, 3 for 26. And I believe that Sam has him right now.
Well, delighted to be joined by Mitch Santner, who bowled brilliantly this evening, ending with 3 for 26 from his 4 overs. Mitch, let's start with the state of this week. We knew it was going to be a big week with those 3 games in 4 days. 2 down, 2 wins. That's a great start to this important week.
Yeah, I guess when you look at the schedule, you know that's it's going to come thick and fast, and it's nice to, I guess, get on a bit of a roll and take that momentum into these games. And yeah, and I guess we'll obviously reflect on tonight. It was a pretty good performance, but like you said, we've got to move on pretty quick against a good Middlesex team.
Looking back at the batting innings, contributions throughout the order, but let's have a word for Ollie Sykes with his new best. Obviously a young player just making his way in the game, but my word, he struck the ball well tonight.
Yeah, it was a great cameo. I think, you know, striking it from ball one's never easy, and he made it look pretty good. And I think, you know, I guess we talk about matchups at the time, and he wanted to take on the spinner, and he did to get us up to that 200. You know, we thought 180, 185 would get a wicket, so I guess to get over 200 is always nice.
And then once again, a bit of a team effort with the ball. Seems to be a bit of a theme so far for Surrey, where you're kind of hunting as a pack, and everyone chipping in, including yourself, who being remarkably consistent. 3 wickets tonight, 2 wickets last night, 2 wickets in the game before, 3 in the game before that. So it's going pretty well for you and the rest of the bowling attack.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously look at our lineup, we've got a few bowling options, which is always nice. But yeah, I think, you know, we talk about bowling in partnerships and passing the baton on, and, you know, the guys up top did a great job. I mean, wickets in the power play is always massive when you're defending a score. So I think, you know, the way Toppers and Tommy Curran bowled there, and then we kind of chip in through the middle, it's always nice.
I'm interested in your mindset. Last night, for example, when Brevis came at you, what is your psychology and mindset when a batsman thinks they can take you down?
Try to get out of the over, I guess. No, I mean, I've bowled against Brevis a bit, and he's obviously a great player. And yeah, it was a very good wicket last night. I guess tonight you can kind of play the sides a bit more. We know that there's obviously one short side and one big side, and you know you're trying to get hit to that big side as best you can. So I guess, you know, as a bowling unit, we kind of know what the batters are going to try to do, and you know try to get hit out to the big side. So it's I guess it makes it a little bit clearer in terms of bowling plans anyway.
3rd game in 4 days tomorrow night. It'd be great to make it a hat-trick of wins in this little period before we break for the championship stuff. It's going to be a full house against those rivals, Middlesex. You looking forward to that one?
Yeah, it should be good. It's always nice here Friday night at the Oval. Sun's out, it's going to be very hot again. So, you know, expecting another good wicket and probably another high-scoring affair. So we know Middlesex are a great team, and yeah, you know, like we said, it's quite an important day tomorrow, I guess, just to relax and get ready for Friday.
Well bowled tonight, Mitch, and congratulations to you and the rest of the team. So there we go, Mitch Santner taking 3 for 26 tonight and summing up a fantastic win for Surrey, who take 2 in 2 from the last 2 nights, with that big game coming up on Friday against Middlesex. We hope to see lots of you there for that one. But for now, from all of us here at the Kia Oval on a very successful doubleheader of this Vitality Blast with wins for the women and the men, it's good night from us and have a lovely rest of your evening.
Yeah, thanks to Sam, just rounding up for the punters remaining here at the Kia Oval. And so it just remains from us to say thank you ever so much for your time as ever. Take a little break after Friday night. And of course, as Sam says, that's the big one against Middlesex. But from a point of view of the streams, we will be back on Sunday week for the 4-dayer against Durham. That's going to be an absolute classic. Quick run through of the scorecard then before we go. Sibley up front, brilliant with jacks, both made 40s, but the star, Ollie Sykes, 44 from 18. A real statement knock by the kid. Brilliant he was, especially against Tamal Mills. And then with the ball, well, as we say, Mitch Santner, another masterclass. Reece Topley, 3 for, Tom Curran, 2. And Chris Jordan, who's been bowling as well as I've ever seen him bowl in recent weeks, picks up another one. Surrey get it done by 48 runs. They will be back here on Friday night. Catch that one live on Sky. It will be an absolute classic, no doubt. And from us on the Surrey stream, we will be back a week and a bit for the big one against Durham. We hope you can join us. Thanks as ever from all of us here for your time.